Good morning and welcome to all of you. We're going to start our 2 days conference with the national anthem of the Arab Republic of Egypt. Second tournament of the FEMI Health from the Egyptian Society for Colposcopy. I am Ranar, presenter I'm really honored to present today's conference with my colleagues Fatma Khalil from the Egyptian television and the Brit Rahma Khalid from C. I'm honored to welcome you to the forum in its second tour. The forum in its second tournament is in presence of Her Excellency Ministry of Social Solidarity and the forum, Dr. Naveen Al-Qabbaj, and the Minister of Health, and Dr. Khalid Abdel Ghaffar, and also President of the National Union Procurement Authority and the Honorary President of the forum, Dr. Baha Zidane, the Presidential Initiative for the Dr. Muhammad Hassani, Assistant Minister for Presidential Initiatives, and also the League of Arab States, Dr. Haifa Abu Ghazal, of Councillor Khomay Bouzidi, the Supervisor of the Community Organization. This year's is interested in cancer and obesity. First tournament discussed the different kinds of cancers that are among females. It targets awareness. Over the last few years, with a lot of cancers among females, cervical cancer, ovarian cancer, cancers that harm women. The woman is the cornerstone of the society, the family. She is the one who builds. She is the one who establishes our community. She, the community, as she is healthy, all society is safe and sound. This is the essence and target of the forum because it targets the health of the woman, targets the health of every single one of you who came today here. Every single Arab woman. Important to know that these diseases are by the lack of awareness, the lack of health awareness, and the importance of having awareness of reasons behind such diseases. And when we know this, we're going to know so that the early diagnosis will make the cure much easier. And if we knew that there are kinds of cancers, if we know a lot of information, it's going to be cured 100% before two dangerous stages. Today, the forum and the target of this is awareness to all of you. This year focuses on obesity and the dangers of obesity is not only about shape but also about health because it harms the body. And this forum decided to discuss the dangers of cancer and obesity and also between obesity and cancers and how to avoid dangers. In fact, the forum has decided to make a new thing at the sidelines of the forum itself, which is Femi Bazaar, Femi House Bazaar, a bazaar for all women to provide moral and economic awareness and suffering. And I wish all Now I give the floor to Dr. Muhammad Al-Azab, President of the Egyptian Society for Colposcopy, to give the opening statement. Good morning to all of you, our dear panel members. I really thank you so much for the support and presence here. Dear attendees, your presence is what pushes us to move forward. I really thank you so much for your time and effort. What we just watched are the achievements of the society during the last 3 years, and in spite of the harsh circumstances of the whole world, starting from COVID-19 pandemic that struck the world for 3 years and the harsh economic circumstances. In fact, no one day has passed without taking a move forward in order to deliver the message of the society to the largest number possible. What just helped us after the generosity of Allah Almighty is the vision of the Egyptian state, which takes care of the Egyptian citizen and especially the Egyptian woman. This is witnessed under a lot of initiatives, starting from 1 million healthy lives initiatives to overcome hepatitis C, which the whole world has witnessed its success, and also Hayat Karima initiative and the Egyptian Women's Health initiative, and a lot of initiatives that are really on the ground and which will also be on the ground all over the Arab world. And here I would like to praise His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, President of the Arab Republic of Egypt, and the first sponsor and supporter of the Egyptian women. The first sign of the support given by the Egyptian and Arab organizations and institutions is that we all are here under the generosity and support of Her Excellency Minister Dr. Naveen Al-Qabbaj and Dr. Khalid Abdel Ghaffar, and the presence of the President of Unified Procurement Authority, Major General Dr. Bahem Zidan. I really thank you so much for your presence and your support, for being here also with us, and also under the auspices of the Dr. Mohammed Hassani, the Minister Assistant for Presidential Initiatives, and also the League of Arab States, represented by His Excellency Dr. Khamis Abu Zidi. I really thank you so much for being here. In fact, I always been asked what is the real reason of this forum, why you always insist on doing this forum, because you need to be more interested in helping doctors. I see that the success of any medical awareness, any medical business can be supported by awareness of the service provider, which is also supported by the Minister of Health continuously, which helps us in doing a lot of conferences and also providing the most sophisticated medical technologies, and also the awareness of the service receiver, which is very important. This awareness is very important because he needs to be aware of the real reason behind the problem and how to receive the medical service. This will help raising the quality of the service itself. We are not just interested in giving awareness or delivering awareness to women, but we have a belief that if we just taught the Egyptian woman, you just taught the whole Egyptian society, because she will teach her husband, her son, her daughters, and even granddaughters and grandsons. This is the cornerstone of the Egyptian family and the Egyptian society. Another thing is given by the presidential initiative. His Excellency has always said that the Egyptian woman is the health of the Egyptian society. We cannot be in the year of 2020 and we still are afraid of cancers. There are different kinds of cancers that we can totally overcome, just like the cervical cancer, and we have a lot of initiatives that help us overcome these cancers. I will not talk a lot. I really want to thank the members of the Egyptian Society for Colposcopy for their support in order to take a move forward. I'd like to thank our sponsors, Charity Sufara, League of Arab States, and I cannot forget the role played by our supporters, because the economic circumstances that we have these days, in the middle of such circumstances, they provided support to all of us in order to provide awareness to the Egyptian woman. We wish we provide awareness and give you something valuable to all of you, and I always insist that we take a step forward in order to help the Egyptian woman. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much, Dr. Muhammad. Now we have a guest with a long and honorable history in humanitarian work and defending human rights and women's rights. She has a doctorate in education and psychology. She assumed several positions like representative of Jordan in the Arab Women Organization and the regional director of United Nations Organization. I now give the floor to Her Excellency Ambassador Dr. Haifa Abu Ghazala, League of Arab States Assistant Secretary General for Social Affairs Sector, represented by Dr. Khomais Al-Wazidi. Thank you so much. Good morning to all of you. I'd like first to deliver the salutation of Her Excellency Ambassador Dr. Haifa Abu Ghazala, League of Arab States Assistant Secretary, Your Excellency Dr. Beha Zaidan, Major General Beha Zaidan, President of the Unified Procurement Authority and the Honorary President of the Forum, Your Excellency Dr. Muhammad Hassani, Assistant Minister for Presidential Initiatives, Your Excellency Dr. Muhammad Al-Azab, President of the Egyptian Society for Colposcopy, dear Excellencies, our dear attendees, ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellency Dr. Naveen Al-Qabbaj, Minister of Social Solidarity of the Arab Republic of Egypt, President of the Forum. I'd like first to express my gratitude to be here in the opening of the second forum under the title of Women Between Obesity and Cancer, under the auspices of the Egyptian Society for Colposcopy and under the auspices of the League of Arab States Ministry of Social Solidarity, and in coordination and cooperation with Ministry of Health and the National Council of Women. I'd be honored to be here in order to deliver the salutations of Dr. Ahmed Abul Ghait, the Secretary General of the League of Arab States, and his confirmation on supporting the initiatives by the civil society organizations in order to support the health empowerment of women as one of the priorities of the developmental policies of the Arab states. Allow me in the beginning to praise the support and efforts played by the Egyptian state in order to provide medical and social empowerment and economic empowerment as well, developing the medical services and social services all around the Arab Republic of Egypt through the coordination with the private and public community sectors and also the media itself in order to support and protect the poor families and those with low and limited income, in cooperation with the civil society organizations which play a lot of rules, advanced rules, in order to achieve the sustainable development goals. I really would like to thank Dr. Muhammad Al-Azab, President of the Egyptian Society for Colposcopy, for his keen efforts to support those who are diagnosed with cervical cancer, and also the support in order to decrease the dangers that come with such a diagnosis. And also I extend my thanks to your members and supporters of the society who do not spare effort to provide awareness and provide needs to all women from the diagnosis stage and throughout the treatment journey, and also with gathering the efforts in order to restore life, natural life, and normal life again, believing in the necessity of coordinating efforts between the private and public sectors and the role played by media in order to provide and spread awareness concerning protecting women from cancers and their dangers. The League of Arab States premises has hosted on 3rd of January a press conference with the participation of Dr. Naveen Al-Khabbaj and Dr. Muhammad Al-Azab, president of the Egyptian Society for Colposcopy. This was to display the pillars of such forum, the FEMI Health Arab Forum, in its second and current tournament under the title of Women Between Obesity and Cancer. Your Excellencies, our dear attendees, the League of Arab States has always been keen on sustaining its support and coordination with the World Health Organization in order to protect people from such diseases. A memorandum was signed with the WHO in December 2021, and it took a lot of decisions at the level of the summit, and also a lot of ministerial councils, whether at the level of ministers of foreign affairs or the specialized councils level, especially the Arab ministers of health, in order to protect people from such diseases, or what we call non-very diseases, in order to protect people from such diseases and the dangers and the challenges that it poses to the society, and the support and development efforts played in these societies throughout the economic developmental and social developmental forum in its fourth tournament in 2019. The Arab leaders praised the initiative for women health in the Arab region, or what we call the pink envelope, in coordination with the Sustainable Development Goals, especially the third goal, which focuses on providing welfare to all people all over the world and at all ages, under the goal of providing efforts to build capacities to fight breast cancer through training human resources and preparing memorandums and guidelines in order to provide health awareness, preliminary health awareness, and also to urge the Arab states to provide systems to record those who are diagnosed with breast cancer, in order to facilitate reaching treatment and providing medical support to all of those who are diagnosed. The initiative also targets, which is launched by the League of Arab States, it targets encouraging investment and providing funds and finances to get supported, to get tools to the early diagnosis of breast cancer, and providing treatments and providing the opportunity to women in order to get such treatments and services at affordable prices, and also providing media campaigns all around the Arab region with awareness to the reasons of cancer and how to overcome it. we have a guest who managed to be responsible for the 1 million healthy lives in an honorable way, and he was responsible for the presidential initiatives and projects in the Ministry of Health in Egypt. One of those initiatives focuses on women health. I now give the floor to Dr. Mohammed Hassani, Assistant Minister of Presidential Initiatives. I now would like to thank Major General Dr. Bahauddin Zidane, President of the Unified Procurement Authority, for the efforts he always gave us, and also Dr. Khumais Abu Zaidi, representative of the League of Arab States, and also Dr. Mohammed Al-Azad, President of the Egyptian Society for Colposcopy. And I also thank you all in this forum. I'm really happy to be here, to be given the opportunity to talk in this forum, which focuses on two main pillars, which are obesity and cancer. I always would like to talk in numbers, and especially on obesity. Egypt is ranked at the 18th position all over the world in the increasing rates of obesity. The whole Arab world, from the first 20 ranks, there are 6 Arab countries in such ranking, which is a very dangerous number. A lot of organizations can translate such number in a very serious way. The whole world is aware of the economic issues and problems that we have these days. $63 billion are spent on all over the world, all over the Arab world, to treat diseases that came. This is a very dangerous rate to consider nowadays. This is reflected on the Arab world, which is also getting under one of the most ranked. Egypt is ranked one of the highest level in deaths. This is very serious. We are talking about two main under the auspices of World Health Organization. The four and all different cancers that are related to women are really differently dealt with here. His President of Fattah al-Sisi 19 on the early diagnosis of cancer. This initiative that year and moving forward, 16 million Egyptian women managed to diagnose cancer. We have examination centers all over Egypt throughout the last year managed to another reality concerning the early diagnosis of breast cancer, and we have lot women diagnosed with late phases of an early diagnosis of breast cancer. This is such initiative traces back success of the presidential initiative. This is on health, on the health of people, and would like to provide you with the with another initiative to provide people with early diagnosis of different cancers. This is one of the members of the work of the Ministry of Health. I'd like to thank Dr. Mohammed Al, the Egyptian Colposcopy of Colposcopy, for the support he provides those who are diagnosed with breast cancer and also with the early diagnosis of breast cancer. I would like to tell you that the only focus on the early diagnosis of breast cancer, but they give us numbers. 30 to 35% of the spending on health go to breast cancer and different cancers, but I need to tell you only 10 to 15%, which is number. We would like also to focus on the aware programs because we are interested in the feminine health, Egypt, and other programs as well. We would like to provide more spending on awareness of the earths and examination in order to provide much results and rankings and indicators concerning breast cancer and cervical cancer. We do not want to talk about too much, but I need you that the Egyptian media has a big responsibility to provide people with awareness, provide people with activities to be more aware of the dangers of breast cancer and different feminine cancers. These initiatives on the tackle the responsibility of the Egyptian society and itself, which focus on providing awareness and supporting to the Egyptian people in order to provide people with much more health and medical awareness as well. I'd like to thank Major General Dr. Zidane for the effort he provided at all levels, and also I'd like to thank for the world that women deserve, and whatever we did, we couldn't fulfill her right. A lot of efforts are laid by the state, whether the private sector or the public. We have a lot of effort to provide to women. I now give the floor to Dr. Yusuf, the speaker of the Egyptian Society for Good morning to all of you. I'm really honored to be here in such a great company. Our dear attendees, I'd like to say we are going to provide you with much information about our strategy. We will talk the importance of women of cancer and the importance of media organizing and feeding. Dr. Muhammad Al-Azab just talked about cervical cancer, and as one of the main kinds of cancer that can be totally and 100 thing that we would like to talk about is the importance of women. Gubral Khalid Gubran, who told us in the essence of the society. When we discussed this, to see that the Asian women and the women in the essence of the society, they are the cornerstone of and the whole society. And let's see here. I think this working or not. Yes, here we go. Means that we are going to talk about the value of women, the risk of cancer, and of controlling this. Now let's talk value of women. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi a nice word to assert the role of women because of happiness. They are the lake of the Nile. They are the makers of happiness and development, and they are of Egypt. We were just talking about what Khalid Gibran said about women. So let's discuss the of women and of our society. Now let's give an example of Abraham Lincoln, one of the greatest of the United States of America, how he valued the Egyptian African women. And another example is John Kerry. This was a disorder in his gland, and from the first day and treating him, he managed to convert his order to make people laugh and not too powerful. Dr. Ahmed Zuwail also, his mother told him that like you to give people tools in order for them to live a bit much better. In one of the restaurants, I found the owner of the restaurant itself. He asked a man, who is that man sitting over there? Asked him. She told him that he once proposed to me, and he responded back, "You managed to marry him. You are a great woman because he is a great man." Now a woman who is diagnosing one of the reasons of breast cancer. I believe women deserve much higher in our society in order to provide solutions to such problems. Now let's do the important breezes. We have that we call 5-0. The first five years, 0 as the 0 cases. We would like to achieve that. Now let's talk about the 5 steps. We have situational analysis, objective, strategic actions and solutions. The sources, finally, the executive plan assessment one. Number 1, concerning the situational analysis. Unfortunately, we do not have concerning the cervical cancer here in Egypt. So we do not have accurate numbers of cases here in Egypt. And so we'd like to know the distribution pattern of Egypt concerning distributed across Egypt, and also the mortality rate in Egypt. So such numbers to know much more information. The second point is the goal that to achieve, because we go in with the World Health Organization, and we work with in order to a new plan 90, 70, 90. The first 90 is the vaccination of women. 7% is helping such a challenge, and the last percent to reach 100% of women here in Egypt. Our SE is built on two halves. The first half is the political support plan. The political support that we receive from a state, also the cooperation among a multi-sectional plan, will make us achieve 70% of a screening and an action panel to achieve the 80% of women. In order to achieve such need two kinds of resources. Number 1 is the financial resource, and number 2 is the human one. We depend on a part of the Egyptian Society for under the volunteers. We work with the to get us who work for part-time work. So thank you for support along with the associations and society. Well, this is supporting us. So we thank those who help us in this goal. Finally, now move to the implementation or evaluation plan. It moved out 5 years. No well see without we have what PIs, how much we achieved of the vaccination rate, how much from the screening rate, activity rate, and finally the treatment rate. A very simple information to give you that in the society we understand the role we play, the important work, and we do not work in a random. It will be able to achieve our sentence is very important because it says Ananias for the sacrifice his life for the nation. It's very important also and much to live for him, because if we are healthy enough and we are going to stand more and Major General, I'd like to thank you so much for the word that women deserve, and whatever we did, we couldn't fulfill her right, but a lot of efforts are laid by the state, whether the private sector or the public sector. We have a lot of efforts to provide to women. I now give the floor to Dr. Rafat Youssef, the media speaker of the Egyptian Society for Colposcopy. Good morning to all of you. I'm really honored to be here in such a great company. Our dear attendees, I'd like to see you in this forum. I'm really happy to be here as well. I'd like to also show you and display the strategy of the Egyptian Society for Colposcopy. We work under a fixed strategy. We are going to provide you with much information about our strategy. We will talk about the three main pillars: the importance of women, the danger of cancer, and the importance of media in organizing and facing cancer. Dr. Muhammad Al-Azab just talked about cervical cancer, and as one of the main kinds of cancer that can be totally and 100% can be 100% overcome. The first thing that we would like to talk about is the importance of women. One of the major and most important poets, Khalid Gibran, who told us that women are the essence of the society. When we discuss this together, we see that the Egyptian women and the women in general are the essence of the society. They are the cornerstone of the family and the whole society. And let's see here our presentation. I think this is working or not. Yes, here we go. These are the points that we are going to talk about: the value of women, the risk of cancer, and the role of controlling diseases. Now let's talk about the value of women. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi gave a nice word to women to assert the role of women. They are the makers of happiness. They are the ladies of the Nile. They are the makers of happiness and development, and they are the great people of Egypt. We were just talking about what Khalid Gibran said about women. So let's discuss the value of women in the life of our societies. Now let's give an example of Abraham Lincoln, one of the greatest presidents of the United States of America, and how he valued the American women. And another example is John Kerry, who lost his wife when he was 10 years old. He was diagnosed with Tourette syndrome. This was a disorder in his glands, and from the first day she worked on curing and treating him. He managed to convert his weakness point in order to make people laugh and not to be sorrowful. Dr. Ahmed Zuwail also, his mother told him that I would like you to give people tools in order to help them to live a much better life. In one of the restaurants, I found the owner of the restaurant itself. He asked a woman, who is that man sitting over there? He asked her, who is that man? She told him that he once proposed to me, and he responded back that if you managed to marry him, you would be a great woman because he is a great man. Now we see a woman who is diagnosing one of the reasons of breast cancer. I believe women deserve much more and much higher status in our society in order to provide solutions to such problems. Now let's move to the importance of pre-diagnosis. We have a plan that we call 550. The first five is the 5 steps that the next 5 as the 5 years, and the last 0 as the 0 cases, because we would like to achieve that goal concerning cervical cancer. Now let's talk about the 5 steps. We have a plan starting with situational analysis, objectives, strategic actions and solutions, the available resources, and finally the executive plan and assessment one. Number 1, concerning the situational analysis, unfortunately we do not have complete statistics concerning the cervical cancer here in Egypt, so we do not have accurate numbers of cases here in Egypt. And also we'd like to know the distribution pattern across Egypt concerning cervical cancer and how they are distributed across Egypt, and also the mortality rate here in Egypt. So we have a goal in order to fix such numbers to know much more information. The second point is the goal that we would like to achieve, because we go in coordination with the World Health Organization, and we work with them in order to a new plan 90, 70, 90. The first 90 is the vaccination of women. 70% is helping a society to overcome such a challenge, and the last percent is to reach 100% of women here in Egypt. Our strategy is built on 2 halves. The first half is the political support. The second one is the action plan. The political support that we receive from the Egyptian state, and also the cooperation among multi-sectional partners. The action plan will make us achieve a 90% of HPV vaccination, and also achieve 70% of screening, and an action plan to achieve the 90% of treating women. In order to achieve such goal, we need 2 kinds of resources. Number 1 is the financial resource, and number 2 is the human one. We depend on a part of the Egyptian Society for Colposcopy under the help of volunteers. We work with the society in order to get us people who work full-time or part-time volunteering work. So thank you so much for giving us much support along with different associations and societies as well. This is a support given to us. We thank those who help us in this goal. Finally, now let's move to the implementation or the evaluation plan. It moves throughout 5 years. No one will succeed without we have what we call KPIs, how much we achieved of the vaccination rate, how much we achieved from the screening rate, and also the positivity rate, and finally the medication rate, the treatment rate. A very simple information to give you that in the society we understand the role we play and the importance of planning, because we do not work in a random way, because it would be impossible to achieve our goals. This sentence is very important, because it says it's very nice for the man to sacrifice his life for the nation, but it's very important also, and much important, to live for his nation, because if we are healthy enough, we will help our country, and we are going to stand much more and stronger with our country and with our nation. Finally, we will achieve what Garcia Marquez just said, that he just said that life will not happen again. We only live once, not twice. The emergence of Gandhi in such a great way traces back to the role of women in his life also. We wish safety and health to all women in Egypt and the Arab world. I'd like to thank you so much for being here, and the dear ministers and dear attendees for being here. And we wish you appreciate and like our conference and our forum to achieve its goals through the cooperation with the presidential initiatives, with the cooperation of Dr. Mohammed Hassani, Assistant Minister for Presidential Initiatives. We work under the umbrella of multi-organizations, whether with the state itself or the private sector. We see different ways of cooperation to move forward. Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to display this, and we wish you give you the awareness enough. Thank you so much. And now, with an appreciation from the Egyptian Society for Colposcopy for the efforts of our main figures, I give the floor to Dr. Muhammad Al-Azab to give the honor to our dear attendees today. Now, when we start with the first honorary prize, it's not merely established as a routine or a protocol in our forum. This honorary prize that we give is for the effort and the personal situations and positions with us. When I start with His Excellency Major General Dr. Bahé Zidane, I really thank him for the support because I remember in June in Africa Exicon conference, it was one of the biggest medical conferences all over Africa, and there were experts from all over the world participating in that forum. This was a participation by the Egyptian Society for Colposcopy in order to talk about cervical cancers and with doctors from all over Africa. I really would like to thank you so much. I'm honored to give you this honorary prize. In fact, Ministry of Health and Population and the presidential initiatives for the women health, we managed to do a lot of work with them and a lot of initiatives and campaigns we managed to provide to the people in order to protect the health of the Egyptian women. We started our work with that initiative under the auspices of Dr. Muhammad Hassani. Thank you so much for your support and for your work, and we wish we are at your expectations. Kindly come here to receive this honorary prize. Allow me to tell you that if one deserved this prize, it would be Dr. Ahmed Morsi. I cannot lift this prize but in his presence because he played the main important role in providing such initiatives in the ministry. I now give him this honorary prize. The League of Arab States has always been our supporter with full care and full interest in the first tournament of the forum. This particular year, this happens for the first time to receive a sponsor from the League of Arab States in order to provide support to all campaigns and to all initiatives that we call for. I always thank the League of Arab States, and I call upon His Excellency Counselor to receive the honorary prize of Dr. Haifa Abu Ghazala in her representation. Rana, I'd like to have some coffee and we want to get into a break. Of course, we would like to thank our dear guests who honored us. His Excellency Major General Dr. Bahauddin Zidane, thank you so much for your presence here. Dr. Muhammad Hassani, we would like to thank you so much. And of course, the League of Arab States, Dr. Khumayis Abu Zidi, thank you so much for being here. Now we will have a break for 30 minutes and we will get back to our panel discussion. Thank you so much. I now give the floor to a lady with a long history of struggle against female genital mutilation and the strategy for the pediatrics here in Egypt, and she has a long history of research in the role of empowering the working woman and also providing awareness to all working Egyptian women here in Egypt. No one here in Egypt doesn't know about her works through her participation. She is now here with us in the forum. I now give the floor to Her Excellency Dr. Naveen Al-Qabbaj, Minister of Social Solidarity. In the name of Allah, I'm pleased and honored to be with you here today in such a nice day, fruitful and crowned by the Egyptian woman. Today we will talk about all Egyptian women in a scientific circle, a developmental circle, which are provided by the Egyptian state to the Egyptian women. So good morning to all of you, and I salute all of you, and I'm really pleased to be in the presence of the Femi Health Arab Forum and also in the presence of His Excellency Major General Dr. Bahauddin Zidane, President of the Egyptian Unified Procurement Authority, and my dear colleague Dr. Hala Adli Hussein, Dr. Haifa Abu Ghazala, League of Arab States Assistant Secretary General for Social Affairs Sector. I wasn't lucky enough to meet her, so I would like to deliver my salutation to her, and I also salute my colleagues in the Ministry of Health, our strategic partner here in this forum, Dr. Muhammad Al-Azab, President of the Egyptian Society for Colposcopy, and all of us praise and appreciate the efforts he provides, and also Dr. Hala in this framework, and our colleagues in the Ministry of Health, Dr. Muhammad Hassani, Assistant Minister for Presidential Initiatives, and also Dr. Ahmed Morsi. In fact, I'm really happy to be here in such a great company of institutions, international institutions and bodies, and community ones, and also research centers, and those who are interested in the health of the Egyptian women, and also those who are coming from the media. I would like to thank the Egyptian Society for Colposcopy for their kind invitation given to me. I'm really honored to be here. I always seek for such participations and partnerships. Health is a right of among human rights, and when we talk about poverty is not just an abstract thing. When we talk about the poverty of health or the lack of health, it's the main part that we need to take all care of, and especially the women that lives in rural areas and the Egyptian women who do not have enough information and awareness about giving birth health, and also distant places in where there are no much medical health at the utmost. And that's why we cooperate with other ministries in order to provide medical services and justice of distribution of such opportunities and availability of such opportunities. We would like to provide much more opportunities to take care of the feminine health. The main slogan of this time is the human rights of at all levels, the right to have a good health, and also the women's right to have awareness of the medical services and providing them at affordable prices and at available places as well in order to reach out to those services. Health and development are all integral. They are all related. The Egyptian women's health is the health of the whole family and society, because what is closely related to the giving birth health is is the awareness and the manners that may be lacking somehow among Egyptian women who do not take care of this particular side. So we would like to prioritize the medical services to the Egyptian woman. She provides for her family, but before she takes care of her health. This is one of the problems that we can totally avoid, especially with the early diagnosis. This issue is very important. It's really taken in consideration by the president himself throughout the presidential initiatives that we saw how the Ministry of Health can provide these days. But the burden is not only on the Ministry of Health and Population, but at all levels. But from our side, we take care of being responsible for the social society organizations which provide medical services to maybe 30% of the Egyptian society, at medical services, clinics and centers that provide those services as well, and also giving birth services. This is very close to the local society, and that's why we are a close partner. We have a close partner which are the civil society organization. This is a very important case, which is the cervical cancer and also breast cancer. And we always know that the cervical cancer, if it's not the most important, the most dangerous one here in Egypt, because it's the main reason behind the high mortality rates here in Egypt if she doesn't know about it, but in a late phase. This is also related to some negative social manners like the multiple sexual relations, and also the multiple births of women, and the lack of giving birth, and also smoking. Those are among the main reasons that may cause cervical cancer. In fact, today we were talking with our colleagues about the examinations, when those examinations and the indicators, when they are distributed to the medical centers, they help and contribute to the prior examination and the early diagnosis of women with cervical cancers. And when those women are aware of such awareness, it will help her prioritize her own health. I'm really happy to see that the Egyptian Society for Colposcopy organizes such an important forum with important partners, and also with Diarna and our producers among women who come to hear from abroad in order to see how the Egyptian woman can be healthy enough, participating in providing awareness for her family. Health is not just a healthy topic, but it also related to economics in the first place, because lacking the potentials and the capabilities of the Egyptian woman threatens the quality of life. And in the first place, we talk about kids and children, and her relation with her children as a mother, or her participation in the society as a producer. Providing much higher awareness is very important. We would like to confess that we have a serious awareness issue here in the Egyptian and the Arab society in general, because we see a lot of women who lacks awareness concerning their giving birth health and their health in general. We need to know that there is a close relation between the self and the body itself. We see that we have a serious health dangers that may especially lead to some issues that may also by turn lead to further dangers. And that's why the Ministry of Social Solidarity adopts two programs. Number one is Mawadda program, to provide awareness to those who are going to marry soon, and to provide them with awareness, familial awareness, and to discuss some special and familial topics and relations that we are always ashamed to discuss, but they are very important to provide the women with awareness. Number two, we have a Y, or awareness program, which reiterates the importance of the health of the woman and the child himself, and the value of the Egyptian woman and her health, and the prior diagnosis of diseases. The Ministry of Social Solidarity reiterates its support to the specialized civil society organizations through our ministry and in partnership with Nasser Bank. Throughout the last 3 years, we provided support by providing support to about 20 hospitals with a value of more than 10 million Egyptian pounds in order to provide support to those educational or community hospitals. We also provide support to Bahia institution to protect women from breast cancer and the early diagnosis of breast cancer. In fact, we see that the ministry helps with putting a national plan in partnership with the Ministry of Health and Population, and we have given birth health clinics. We are going to provide much services like the pre-diagnosis of cervical cancer service, so it's not just limited to the familial health, but also the health of the Egyptian women in general. We are also interested in the familial institution in a special way, and also increasing and heightening the familial relations in a right way for the Egyptian family. And that's why this forum comes to reiterate the importance of protecting the Egyptian family and also protecting the health of the Egyptian women and the pre-diagnosis of diagnosis, because it will make them free from some psychological and economic dangers. These are among the issues. If the Egyptian woman has awareness enough about them, especially cervical cancer, and that's why we contribute and we call upon all Egyptian women to be aware of the importance of her health, giving birth health, and also to help other women to take care of their health, because I think helping women among each other will be very important. This support will be very powerful and important and boosts the position of women here. And I call upon every single Egyptian man to contribute to providing awareness to his wives, to their daughters and sisters, in order to be aware of such dangers. But we also appreciate the role of the Egyptian man to provide awareness to his women and to help her and to mobilize their efforts to contribute and to take care of her giving birth health. If there are some cases, we want men to be the supporters of those women psychologically, because man is also contributing to the family. In this framework, we call upon the forum that the Ministry of Social Solidarity works with the forum in the future and the civil society organizations in two main subjects. It's not just one subject. We will contribute to funding more than 50 indicators for the members of this forum through the Egyptian Society for Colposcopy and also Dr. Hela Adli Hussein, and hence we contribute to providing those indicators, not only 50 indicators, but not only before the financial year, but after that we will provide much more. We will also contribute with putting this case at the priority in order to prioritize this case in contribution and in partnership with the Mawadda program. And we have 65 clinics this year. This year they will be 200 clinics for giving birth, under the slogan of only 2 children are enough, and also to provide the prior diagnosis of cervical cancer and also breast cancer as a main part of these clinics. And that's why we contribute and partner with our colleagues in the service. In addition, we have Tekefo and Karama. They are poor women here at Tekefo and Karama initiative. The poverty rate there is very high, and that's why we partner with Tekefo and Karama. So we do not just provide them with literacy programs, but we also provide awareness. We also provide them with awareness programs. We assure you and we pledge in partnership with the Ministry of Health and Population and also civil society organizations and and in the framework of this forum. The case is that what will happen after the forum, not the forum itself, and that's why we would like to contribute to these recommendations and the implementations of these recommendations. Doors are open. We are ready to contribute, whether with a financial or partnership endeavors throughout our personnel and through our civil society organizations, or even through the Red Cross organization here in Egypt, in order to provide a group of or a set of supporting and funds. And by the end, I'd like to thank the responsible for this forum, and I reiterate the responsibility and keenness of the ministry to help with the implementation of the recommendations that will result from this forum in the field of helping the health of the Egyptian women, in order to provide a much better life quality to all Egyptian women and to all Egyptian families, and also in order to achieve the social protection strategy and also the sustainable development goals strategy that we strongly support. Thank you so much to all of you, and I'm really happy to be here in this forum today, and I really congratulate you in prior, and I encourage my dear colleague, dear Dr. Hahel Al Hussein, I tell her that you will be the leader of this journey successfully in partnership with strong men and personnel from the Ministry of Social Solidarity and the Egyptian Society for Colposcopy, and I encourage you to be much more successful, and I wish you success. Thank you so much. Dr. Nevig, in fact, we don't want you to leave the stage because we are really happy. Your statements that comes to our heart directly, and your ministry, the work that you do in the Ministry of Social Solidarity is very prominent, and that's why we would like to provide you with this honorary prize. This is not given by the forum, because I do remember in the year of 2019 and the support that you provided for the Egyptian Society for Colposcopy, and that's why we would like to give you this honorary prize, and we are really for the partnership in the future, and we are always happy to provide support for the ministry. Thank you so much.
فلوس جايين وكده كده. بص جوني قدام اصلا، بس هو هنا في اللايف طالعين.
Let me start with Madam Nadia Youssef. Would you please come to the stage? Mrs. Nadia Samir, are you there? Kindly come to the stage to tell your story. Let's start with Mrs. Hanedi Youssef. Kindly come to the stage. Mrs. Nadia Samira, are you there? Please come to us. Where is Nadia? Please come to the stage. In fact, I'm really happy that Her Excellency, Minister of Social Solidarity, is with us and watching us today. So we would like to deliver a message to her. I'd like to say that we have guests like Mrs. Hanedi. Kindly come to the stage. Don't be shy. Please come here in order to deliver your story.
مساء الخير.
Good evening. My name is Hanadi Youssef, a Syrian Egyptian citizen. I'll talk about my story with cancer because I was diagnosed with cancer like 2 years ago, and now I'm safe and sound, as you see. My case started 2 years and a half or 3 years ago when the period started to come to me like twice a month. I had some symptoms like stomach ache. Those symptoms come to a lot of women and they ignore them. I visited a lot of doctors. Some of them diagnosed me wrongly, and I went to a lot of doctors, famous doctors here in Egypt and abroad, and some of them told me that I have some problems with my uterus and some imbalance in hormones. However, it became much more severe during the last period. I made a search on the internet and I was watching some videos. So I found Dr. Muhammad Al-Azab online in a video talking about cervical cancer. So I found the same symptoms in my body. And I'm one of the people who are not just persuaded by the speeches given on social media, but something happened that pushed me to go because it was urgent. On the same day, I went to Dr. Muhammad Al Azab and we talked a while. And I was totally stressed because I was afraid of what I heard in the video from the symptoms, so I was worried. After that, we made the screening on the uterus, and frankly, till this moment, I couldn't forget the sight and the reactions on his face when he saw the screening. So I found that his facial gestures changed a bit, and I asked him, is everything okay? And he reassured me that everything is fine. But I found that something is wrong with me. After that, when I followed up with the doctor, and he was following my case up. After 6 days, the results were there, and when I went to him, he knew that I'm alone, and he dealt with me. He wanted to reassure me that, and he wanted to tell me that I'm diagnosed with cancer, but he couldn't in that moment. And when he went to giving me the information and the news of having a cancer, he couldn't do that, but I was ready. However, when I imagine myself in that situation, it was totally strange to me because I put myself on the shoes of other women. God forbid any woman can have the same disease. It was a disaster. It was a nightmare because I kept thinking about my children, about my husband, and about my family. I thought that death is coming on the way. I'm going to die tomorrow, if not today. When I got the shock from the doctor, he told me what to do in the future. I didn't understand anything from him, but I surrendered to what happened to me, and I dealt with the subject like it was like a few days to die. However, doctor kept insisting that we do the surgery as soon as possible in order to not to avoid moving to the next stage. But I was escaping and quitting because I was afraid of the surgery and I was afraid of death. I was struggling hard with this. I can't describe my feelings then, but let me summarize what I felt in that period. He put me on the spot and he told me that if you didn't do that surgery with me, you need to do it whether with me or with another doctor because you will be in danger. This put me in much pressure, but he reassured me that I'm going to be just fine. And he reaffirmed that I'm going to visit another doctor in order to start the surgery, and he reaffirmed that I'm going to be much better in order to not to go to the next stage. When I woke up from the surgery, I found myself like in a dream because everything kept happening quickly in a way that I couldn't imagine. When I went to the chemotherapy, when I was subject to the chemotherapy, it was too tiring and too burning. I wished that I die 100 million times. And every single time I speak with the doctor, I'm totally psychologically distracted. But Dr. Muhammad Al-Azhar kept reaffirming me and reassuring me. So I totally thank him. I'd like to thank Dr. Muhammad Al-Azhar for this. After the chemotherapy and after the radiotherapy, it was tiring and I kept in a depressing state, and I just decided to get to my life again, to get back to my life because of my children, because of my husband, and so on. But let me tell you that it wasn't like I'm going to die. I was going to die, but it's about that I don't want any woman to be in the same situation, because I kept doing diagnoses and I kept doing examinations. And when you visit a doctor who knows exactly what he does, I would not get in a much worse situation. And from this place, I advise every single woman, whether you are old, whether you are young, whether you are with a baby or you are not. I don't know anything about medical terminology, but I advise all of you to do the diagnosis and to do the screening, because it's very common among women. It's very important, because if you ignore such important practice, it will risk your life, all over your life, and the family will collapse because of that. So from this platform, I'd like to advise you to have a regular diagnosis and screening. Do not ignore any symptom that you already have. Kindly follow up very well. I don't have so much details about this, but I took a vaccination once, and I advise you to take the same vaccination. Kindly do the screening and the diagnosis in order to avoid what happened. Thank you so much. In fact, I always thank Hanedi and every single woman like her, because they teach us and they give us power, and because of their insistence. And the most important thing in treating cancer is the insistence of such cases on being treated, and without such insistence, we will slide to dangerous phases. I'd like to tell you that for her to come here to took all over before you, it takes much courage. So a salutation, and we hail Hanedi for such courage. And we would like to add in front of you and in her presence, because she was afraid of dealing with people and how people may perceive her. So I told her it doesn't matter to you, because you are strong and you are much powerful. And this gave her much strength in order to talk about her case. So every single one of you, if you can help, if you can advise other people to go to do the screening, please do. Now, let us know the commentary of Dr. Muhammad Shireen on this case, whether you want to speak from your place or from here. In fact, in the beginning, I'd like to thank you so much for this forum and your nice words. And I'd like to thank Hanedi for her courage, and in order to come here in as much strength. This is very nice from her. So because we have a lot of problems with talking about this before people. If we talk about cervix cancer, we would like to show some important information about this. I don't don't want to get into much details about cervical cancer, but I have two comments. Before those two comments, I'd like to tell you that the cervix is the area that ends with the vagina. It's below the uterus itself. The vagina is used for intercourse, and it gives passage to the uterus. And we do not want to get in a much later stages, because it will affect the uterus itself, and it will have very dangerous results at the end. And we have a lot of reasons to cause such disease. However, what is very important in this case is not to give you information about this, but as much as to tell you that the treatment is very costly and is very harsh. Not only surgery, but also the chemotherapy and the radiotherapy. These are very harmful, and they are too costly. The problem is that when I bring a doctor, when I get a patient that has 25 years old to sit with Dr. Muhammad Al-Azab, we can see that these diseases weren't over there in the past, but now we are in a new scenario before people. So we would like to know and to give you information that there is a long stage before having the reality of having a cancer. But this stage is very long, because we would like to have diagnosis throughout this stage, because we're going to avoid much risky results at the end. This is the most important thing in cervical cancer, and that's why all of us, we need to show awareness and provide awareness to all women in order to provide and to do screening, regular screening on their bodies in order to avoid cervical cancer. So thank you so much. In fact, Dr. Shireen, I know that you would like to give a lot of information, but I'd like to tell you an information about Dr. Shireen. Dr. Shireen is always insisting on showing awareness. When we do diagnosis of cervical cancer, we screen the uterus, the vagina, the cervix itself, and it doesn't matter what kind of cases that we discover, but it really matters to know the stage in which these cases are located. And one of the most stubborn cases is the late stage of cervical cancer. So those who are diagnosed with cervical cancer know that this is so difficult to them. But if you diagnosed yourself early, you could avoid indulging into later phases on cervical cancer. We're going to revisit this again. Now we would like to introduce Dalia Samir to you. Dalia, please come to the stage.
طيب خلوني اقول لكم نادية يا نجم سمير تعالي. طلع عيني. هنعرف الناس اللي كده قصة.
Good morning. Can you hear me now? Good morning. My name is Nadia Samir. I'm 37 years old. I was feeling unwell and feeling a lot of tired, and I took a lot of medications. Such bleeding was extra at the recent period, and I asked my friends and asked a lot of people to give me information about this due to the severe pain that I'm feeling, but nothing new. And when I was surfing the internet, I watched the video of Dr. Muhammad Al-Azab. He was talking about my case and all of the symptoms that I suffered from, and I contacted the clinic of Dr. Al-Azab, and after that I went to another video and watched the symptoms as well another time. And when I went to Dr. Muhammad Al-Azab, he told me that I already need to make a cervical screening, and once he got the results, he knew that there are some abnormal cells, and he advised that I have some samples from my cervix. It took like 7 days. The result showed up, and I went to Dr. Muhammad Al-Azab in order to make me understand what the implications of these results. He told me that these are some abnormal cells that may lead to cancer, and I was convinced that I already have cancer and I'm going to die very soon. And as the previous lady told us, she told us the same thing, and I was feeling the same thing, that I'm going to die very soon. Dr. Muhammad Al-Azab reassured me, and he told me not to worry too much, but I couldn't be convinced. I got the examinations, and I visited a lot of doctors here in Egypt and abroad, and all of them told me to remove the uterus in order to avoid the risks of cancer. But it was only Dr. Muhammad Al-Azab who reassured me, and he told me that we're not going to remove the uterus. And I was convinced that he was just reassuring me. And one day he told me to come, and we're going to remove only a certain part that is diagnosed with cancer in the uterus, and the remaining parts will be already there. And I couldn't be convinced when I did the sample, and I removed only a little part of my uterus. The cells were all removed, and after 6 months the screening results were already fine, and all of these cells were removed. So I'd like to thank Allah Almighty that I made a diagnosis at an earlier phase. And Dr. Al-Azab told me that we're going to follow up after 6 months, and the result was negative that time. Thank God. My story tells you that I'm already safe and sound, and without cancer in my body. Thank God. I would like to advise all women, it's not just words, because I got deeper into the details. The cervical cancer and the idea of having a cancer is very painful. So kindly take care of yourself, do screenings, do examinations, and do everything that make you reassured. And I'd like to thank Dr. Muhammad Al-Azab, because I really tired him. I confess this, and he was so patient, and he stood by my side. And without him, I was going to in a very difficult phase. And without him, I wasn't be here with you. And may God protect Sami, my brother Sami, and Dr. Muhammad Al-Azab as well. Thank you so much. Dr. Mahmoud Salim, what is your comment on this? Thank you so much, Dr. Muhammad, and thank you so much to all our dear attendees. Of course, Dr. Muhammad Al-Shirin, Dr. Muhammad Al-Qulla, and all of you provided a lot of information. But I'd like to tell you that if I told you that there is someone who outside the hole is going to measure the blood pressure, well, all of us will do the same. Yes, all of us will do the same, because it's very important. We want to be reassured about our health, but we already have information about high blood pressure, and we know all of its problems and risks, because we already have information about it. But concerning cervical cancer can be somehow vague to all of us, because we do not have much information about it. And at the same time, some people may be afraid of the word screening, because I know a lot of people who do not know the meaning of screening. As you noted before, screening is a simple procedure, as Dr. Shireen stated. Cancer doesn't become a cancer in only one day. So these cells become accumulated, and they turn into a cancer. So it's only from 1 year to even 10 years. So we have a long period in order to pre-diagnose our case, and the treatment then will be very simple, and we will not indulge in any further risks. But every single information and every single case that we already do not know we don't know information about, we're going to be in much a vague case. But by the passage of time and the acceptance of such cases, our fear will be much lesser. And if you do not know any information about vaccination, if you have a child, will you avoid and reject giving vaccination to your children when those vaccinations appeared in the beginning? A lot of people were afraid of that because you are giving microbes to your child, and it was very fearful. And now on the other side, a lot of people are providing vaccinations for their children. I'd like to thank the Ministry of Social Solidarity, Ministry of Health and Population, and also the Egyptian Society for Kalboski for the efforts and for the information they provide. Kindly give a lot of people information about the screening and how screenings are done, and also about the precautions and the risks that may result from neglecting such a diagnosis. Thank you so much, Dr. Muhammad, and thank you to all of you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Mahmoud. And I'd like to tell you there is a big difference between I go on a path of a cancer and treating myself by deleting cells. I told you before that when we deal with treatment, Nadia was treated in only 10 minutes. And when we compare such cost to the other case, there is no comparison between them. We did not subject our case to radiotherapy or chemotherapy, and we got a 100% treatment. And I would like to ask you a very simple question. What make you so late at the regular diagnosis and examination? I asked myself the same question. It could be the cost itself. I think it's the fear. One of the things that we may think about is the cost itself. When we talk about vaccination, and if the vaccination cost is 1,000 Egyptian pound, is very high. And if I give you three doses at your age, one dose is at 1,000 Egyptian pound, and our examination starts from 25 to 65, so it's only 40 years. So every 3 years we do an examination, so it will be much less than 20 Egyptian pounds. So you pay such amount at 40 years. So I think it's very simple if we counted it. But on the other hand, if one woman is diagnosed with cervical cancer, in certain cases I ask examinations that cost 20 Egyptian pounds. So I think this is very high. So if we talk about fear, on the other hand, a lot of people are afraid, and a lot of people are already afraid of doing examinations and diagnosis. So let us see another case. So Ahmed, please, could you please show the video? I didn't feel any pain, so I advise a lot of people. I didn't feel any pain, no pain at all. It's not painful at all. It's like a simple needle. There is no tiring and there is no pain at all, and it took no time. I was much reassured because of this. I didn't feel any pain because of this. It's not painful at all. Yeah, it's like a regular examination at a gynecologist. You will remove such headache from your head because you are the essence. Even this does not take 5 minutes. If I get a result that doesn't show anything, it doesn't mean that I have a cancer, because I diagnosed a lot of cases at a very different and wide group ages, and it's like a virus, and it's like a regular disease. In fact, when I diagnose a girl or a woman with a cervical cancer, when I feel a failure in such diagnosis, because it would have been totally and easily avoided. I feel sympathy with those cases because we do not expect such cancer like 100%. what is the age of doing the diagnosis? If you are married, it's like up to 49 years old to 50 years old. If there is no inheritance in history in the family, yes, it doesn't matter. 80% of people will have this virus throughout their life. All I need to tell you that we need to provide awareness and information, and we need to have response from you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time and attending this session. Thank you so much. As all doctors say, prevention is much better than cure, and cure is not a problem, but we need to be cured in the first place. It will not be costly and at all ages, but it's very important to take such a step. Now, we're going to start with Dr. Rafat Yusuf, the media speaker of the Egyptian Society for Colposcopy. Good evening. Kindly focus on this session, which will also focus on oncology. Kindly listen to all of us, dear attendees. We are going to talk about oncology session. We are honored to have on board Professor Dr. Yasser Abdelail, oncology professor at Cairo University, Dr. Mohsen Mukhtar, oncology professor Cairo University, and after that we're going to have Dr. Yahya Muhammad Safwat, a surgery professor, and also Dr. Mohammed Hassani, and assistant of a minister for presidential initiatives, and Professor Dr. Islam Anin, economics of pharmaceuticals professor. We're going to start with Dr. Yasser Abdel Qadir. We are honored to have you on board. He is one of the most famous professors on oncology and breast oncology and lung oncology as well. And he will talk about lung cancer. Let me ask you, is it much more common among men or among women? Thank you so much for the introduction, and I'm really honored to be here in such a great company, our dear attendees. Lung cancer has always been among men because the major reason of lung cancer is smoking, so it's closely related to men. But now we can see a lot of cases among women, despite the fact that women are much less smoking than men. So all over the world, the cases in 2021, the rate of lung cancer was among women was totally equal to the rate of men, and this can be interpreted as on abroad that we already have an equal rate between men and women in lung cancer, because we can see a lot of women smoking hookah, but here in Egypt we have a much higher rate among men than women, especially here in Egypt. One of the main points Dr. Yasser talked about as the way of smoking, that we can also ask about whether this cancer inherited or not, and what is the role of electronic cigarettes, and what is their effect on health. Concerning smoking, lung cancer can come to men as well as women, so it can also come to non-smokers as well. And the international number of smokers and those who are diagnosed with lung cancer is 85%, and 85% of them are smokers, and 15% of them are non-smokers. So smoking is the major cause and the main reason behind having lung cancer. And we have other reasons like pollution and air pollution as well. So those people can also have various diseases with their respiratory systems. The inheritance of such cancer, it's not like a colon cancer or that breast cancer among women, but there is no single factor among those who are diagnosed with cancer. So here in Egypt and in the Arab world, some women can have much cancers more than men, and they are not smokers. So they're a factor for the inheritance. I think the theory is not correct at all, but smoking and air pollution are the main reasons for lung cancer, especially with asbestos, and this is a popular disease that impact the respiratory system, and some of our cases are non-smokers as well. Those who have doses of pollution can have asbestos. Does obesity cause cancer among women, especially on the lung? Obesity is closely related to cancer. Obesity likes cancer, and cancer likes fat people and obese people. However, it's not like that. I believe this is much commoner among women who are diagnosed with breast cancer, but not lung cancer. But if we talked about it, I think this is not too effective on women. What are the symptoms when a woman have? She may think that she has already a lung cancer. Number one, the symptoms are common coughing, continuous coughing. This is number one. Bloody spitting, and feeling tired without any medication. But if you are tired enough, it doesn't mean that you have a lung cancer. You may have the same symptoms without having a cancer, but it's really related to the diagnosis of cancer. I'm talking about smoking. If you are a smoker, woman, I'd like to advise you to have a screening on your lung. What is the rate of treatment from lung cancer among women? What is the rate, and is there a rule for the pre-diagnosis on the treatment? I always tell you that the cured cases, and even those who are lately diagnosed with cancer, those who come at earlier cases, at earlier stages, they are much better cured than those who are at later stages. But in general, what makes difference is the clinical phase that the patient comes in, whether he is a man or a woman. So the treatment and the cure and survival rate can be up to 100% in earlier stages. And that's why we need to provide much more awareness campaigns. We need to we started with the initiative for the regular diagnosis of those who are maybe diagnosed with respiratory diseases like lung cancer. But the symptoms in general are coughing, bloody spitting, and feeling tired. Final recommendations you can give to women with lung cancer. Do you have final recommendations? My opinion is we already have smoking on hand. So if you are a smoker, you can stop this. And if you are not a smoker, but your husband is a smoker or a heavy smoker, you can hear about negative smoker. So you are a negative smoker even if you do not smoke. So kindly stop this. you can choose between negative smoking or stopping smoking and having cancer. So we would like to advise you to avoid places where smoking can happen. So there is a very important question. The regular smoking and the electronic smoking. So we have a lot of data in 2022. Every single hookah American people can say this. This statement is given by American medical centers. It's equal to 100 cigarettes. So every single hookah is equal to 100 cigarettes. So we are talking about alternatives to cigarettes. And I talked about this 2 years ago about the alternatives, and there was no place for such alternatives like the electronic cigarettes. They are still dangerous, and they may cause lung cancers because they have components. So when you remove the heat, people think that it's not dangerous, but there are other components that can be carcinogenic to the respiratory system. So these are dangerous, and they are as much dangerous as the regular smoking. Thank you so much, Dr. Abor, for such invaluable information. I have a little note to tell. We would like to advise people to listen to this. Our dear attendees, kindly listen to this. We're going to talk about a very important topic, which is ovarian cancer. Doctor, you can see that this cancer is highly rated here in Egypt because we have a high rate of ovarian cancer. So what is the rate of ovarian cancer here in Egypt, and what are the causes of such ovarian cancer? The rate of ovarian cancer here in Egypt, it's not one of the most common cancers, not only here in Egypt but all over the world. So it's not that common. So we do not have a high rates of ovarian cancers here in Egypt in comparison to the whole world. Number two, what are the reasons of having an ovarian cancer? We can see some biological reasons. 15% of those are biological already. And number two, as the overdose of hormones, especially among women who want to give birth and or those who want to get pregnant. So such overdose hormones can help with increasing the possibility of having an ovarian cancer. Another question, is there a relation between ovarian cancer and the breast cancer? If a woman is diagnosed with ovarian or uterus cancer, is there a possibility to have the second phase, or there is no relation? Those who are diagnosed with ovarian cancer can be also subject to breast cancer, and the other family members, if there are some genetic reasons or BRCA gene within the family, if there is imbalance in them, this will make them much more subject and prone to ovarian cancers and even breast cancers. But this is not the only gene, because there are other genes can be discovered, but the diagnosis and examinations that they are subject to. So we advise every single woman, if you have an ovarian cancer, you need to be subjected to a genetic examination, because a member of the family may have such cancer and it could be genetic. But we need to follow such cases. Number two, we have medications. We have various medications in order to treat the imbalanced gene? This is one of the main questions. A lot of women ask about the same idea. What are the symptoms that may appear in a woman? She may think that she already has ovarian cancer. So, what are the symptoms? We do not have a single symptom, but the ovarian cancer symptoms here in Egypt and all over the world, it can be at later phases, and those symptoms can appear lately, and it could be hidden somewhere in the ovaries. However, so we meet some struggles and obstacles in this. You can feel some stomach ache and imbalanced period, but there is no fixed symptom. We do not have fixed symptoms to tell you that you already have an ovarian cancer. I believe this makes it much difficult to women. So what they can do in order to avoid this, and if they have an ovarian cancer, they can discover this before going into later cases. The pre-diagnosis of ovarian cancers are already there internationally for women who already have BRCA gene or the genetic causes. If you have a member in your family who already have or has an ovarian cancer, so there is a program that can be specially designed. They can be subject to sonar and examinations of the ovaries every 6 months, and to show whether there are cancers or not. So can you give us a recommendation in order to avoid ovarian cancer? Kindly do not take overdose hormones, especially when you are menopausing. Kindly do not take such doses in order to give birth, and if you are giving birth, kindly do not take such doses. So you need to make a regular diagnosis in order to avoid this. Thank you so much, Dr. Mohsen. These are valuable information about ovarian cancer. Now, let's move. This is very important in order to all of you. One of the most common cancers here is breast cancer. Now we are honored to have Dr. Yahya Safwat. Question number one. Is there a block? If there a block in the breast, does it mean to have a breast cancer, or does the diagnosis or the examination, if I have a block within my breast, does it mean that I have a mild cancer or a malicious cancer? In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the ever merciful. This answer is the answer of this question can be yes or no. If you have a block in your breast, you need to follow up with a doctor. Yes, you can already consider it as a cancer, but when you go to the doctor, he will determine whether you have a cancer or not. But you are not asked to differentiate between mild cancers and malicious cancers, so there are no symptoms or signs to differentiate between them. I think this is difficult. If you notice that there is some changes with your breast, you may see that you may have a cancer. There is a problem with your breast already, but do not tell yourself that this is normal, this is a little block, this is a chronic wound. But do not diagnose yourself. You need to visit a doctor, and the doctor himself can do. I'm a doctor and I cannot give the diagnosis without examination. So kindly, if you are a regular person, if you feel something, if you feel that something is wrong with your breast, kindly go to the doctor and he will do the best in order to make sure that you are already right. If there is a block in the breast, are there any symptoms that may alarm women of having breast cancer if there are no blocks. And number one is the presence of a block in your breast. Some bleedings from women from the area of breast can be dangerous and can be indicator of having a breast cancer. Another question asked by women: how to protect myself from the possibility of having a breast cancer, especially if I have a familial history in breast cancer. If I have genetic reasons, how to protect myself from this. When we talk about this, we will talk about certain common symptoms that are not related to breast cancer. There are some indicators we cannot avoid, and there are some indicators that we can totally avoid. Breast cancer indicators or reasons can be deodorants or some chemicals that may cause breast cancer. All of these reasons and indicators can be shown with the regular diagnosis and examination. There are other indicators that we can think about concerning breast cancer. Number one is as the obesity. If you are overweight, you can have breast cancer. So because it provides you with much estrogen in your body. Estrogen is given by the ovaries. Some fat cells can already be created from such emissions from the ovaries, and this may cause breast cancer among women. And that's why overweight is one of the main reasons of having a cancer in the breast. What are the precautions that I can take to avoid this? There are no reasons to have a breast cancer. There are no fixed reasons, because you can be subject to examination for like 1 hour a week in order to avoid this. So is there any negative effect of certain practices by women to avoid breast cancer? Because a lot of women are afraid of this. I need to tell you that chemotherapy is very important in this. If a woman is subject to 7 units of chemotherapy, the regular women are prone to 3 units of radiotherapy all around the place. So 1 unit of those is equal to 1 dose of radiotherapy. So it does not have an indicator for having a breast cancer. What is better? So a lot of women ask about the difference between mammogram and other ways of treatment. A lot of women ask about this. We have a various way of examination for the breast. One of the most important is the mammogram. The ultrasound waves are also very important and common among women, especially young ladies that they are under 30 years old, because the sensitivity and the density of the breast is high, and that's why the breast doesn't show anything. If you are under 35 years old, this will not be beneficial to you. So we do the sonar to you. If we are suspected about the sonar, we can do the mammogram. If you are over 35 years old, the mammogram can be enough. The ultrasonic can be enough to you as well. And if you are already have breast cancer, we can do this to ladies over 35 years old. Are there other parts in the breast that can bring breast cancer? We need to know this because this will determine the kind of treatment and surgery. The only thing that we can say that the mammogram is very beneficial is those who have a mutation in their breasts. This will show that there is a high density in the breast skin, and that's why this will be over 30% of our cases, and that's why we can increase our doses of mammogram. Plastic surgeries can be controversial. Some silicone and other surgeries are they a reason for delaying breast cancer diagnosis? Can these plastic surgeries delete or hide the appeared effects of breast cancer? Enlarging breast surgeries can happen through putting silicone behind the breast, and it can be put after the muscle behind the breast. Actually, it pushes the breast forward, so it's not injected within the breast itself, so it's put behind the breast. This will not prevent the importance of having a regular diagnosis and examination. This will not prevent having regular examinations as well. Yeah, as I said before, this will not have a negative effect on breast, but I need to tell you that we may have some dangerous cases that we need to remove the silicone itself if it's harmful to the breast. The idea is that the silicone is injected behind the breast, so it doesn't have any effect on the breast. So because it's not injected in the breast cells themselves. Do you have recommendations for women in order to have the pre-diagnosis of breast cancer? If you have a breast cancer, God forbid. One of the most important thing is awareness. If you are 25 to 30 years old, you need to go to visit the doctor or to have an examination once a month. And if you do not know about this, you can watch YouTube in order to find much information about this. So if you feel change in your breast, you can revisit your specialist doctor in order to make sure that you are fine. Number two, here in Egypt, when we talk about America and Europe, and we see that they have different systems than here in Egypt. Now, here in Egypt, we have a little problem, is that breast cancers can happen at a younger age than abroad. There are 10 years difference between them. The mammogram here in Egypt is not essential at screening or the pre-diagnosis of breast cancer. and it depends on the examination itself up to 25 years old, and from 25 to 35 sooner, and from 40 to after that we do the mammogram every single year and according to the doctor himself. However, this is the phase, is the early detection of breast cancer. Thank you so much, doctor. It's very important to tell that the state provides initiatives and helps women to pre-diagnose herself with breast cancer. If you have a cervical cancer, if you have ovarian cancer, that's why when we have Dr. Muhammad Hassani, Assistant Minister of Health for Presidential Initiatives and Professor of Gastology, and we have also Dr. Hassani, how the presidential initiative is very important for treatment and for diagnosis as well. The state bears a very big burden from women, because we have a lot of women who do not have the capability to do so. We are talking about ignorance and the lack of awareness, and a lot of women think that we do not have and we do not want to have surgeries in our bodies. This is the kind of information among women. We have a work plan and we have a working map. So we have Dr. Muhammad Yusuf as well to talk about this. Thank you so much for your speech, and thank you so much for showing up the role played by the state in the pre-diagnosis. And I'd like to thank Dr. Yasser and Dr. Mohsen, especially Dr. Mohsen and Dr. Yasser. They are my professors. They taught me how to treat tumors and how to take care of the patient who is diagnosed with cancer. Dr. Muhammad Hassani, I'm going to talk, before I talk about cancer, I'll talk about how the state started with the pre-diagnosis of tumors with the hepatitis C initiative. This is the major role for the hepatitis cancers and liver cancers. And I'd like to tell you that liver cancer is the cancer number 1 in Egypt. The state works in a scientific way in order to get rid of hepatitis C. And when that mechanism discovered that we have 60 million Egyptian people who are diagnosed with hepatitis C, we can see other initiatives based on the journal, medical journal of medicine. This initiative was not repeated, cannot be repeated in any other country. Egypt is now the chair of the hepatitis C elimination in the United Nations. And while we had once the problem of having the problem of hepatitis C here in Egypt, now we are the chair of the UN liver diseases elimination. We can see that there are a lot of steps taken in this role and how the world perceives such actions and steps. Now let's talk about what can be done in the pre-diagnosis and what the most common cancer that is already there here in Egypt. I'm going to talk about the breast cancer, which is very important for the pre-diagnosis. The challenge here in Egypt is that we cannot, and even in the developing countries, we take the blueprint from a widely different country from us, and we are asked to implement the same strategy here. But throughout the years, it's proved that this cannot happen. So what we do is that we take these scientific principles and we need to study and to be well aware of our capacities and to know that our society, how it works, and to know that the pre-diagnosis is a medical service that is provided to customers. So we need to put some scientific rules in business in order to provide the service. The service needs to reach out to the customer. So there is a total integration in this service delivery. So we have a flipped pyramid, the pre-diagnosis and the prevention, which is very important. It's widely more important of the early diagnosis. We need to have an integrated cycle of treatment in order to provide a much better treatment to our patients in a way that is already widely and worldly perceived. Now in medicine, and especially in the cardiology, the worldwide perception is already there, and there is no contradiction in how to treat the patient, but there are capacities to tell you when to start and where to start and how to develop yourself according to the information that are already there concerning the characteristics of the state and the people itself that receive the service. This is what Dr. Yahya, who is a member of the Presidential Initiative for Medical Service Providing, and we are different from America and Europe. We depended on the pre-diagnosis and early diagnosis. We depended on mammogram and we depended on sonars and screening more than the early diagnosis. This made us capable of providing services in more than 4,000 or even 4,000 medical centers. So you can find that the service is already close to the woman herself. This means that today there are 31 to 32 Egyptian women. 18% of them are first timers to do the early diagnosis. A lot of women go to this early diagnosis. This is the main principle in the early diagnosis. This is the main principle, and we're going to talk about the success and the Women Health Initiative. After that, I'd like to tell you that Dr. Hassani always works on a scientific map and a scientific plan. It tells you that when you start, you need to have an early diagnosis, which is established on the ground, which also achieves success. The next step needs to be prevention. There are diseases in which prevention is already scientifically trusted, like the cervical cancer, like the corneal cancer, and there are very difficult cancers like the ovarian cancer. And in this case, we have a project that we started with Dr. Hassani with a professor from Russia, which is named Interception. This Interception project will be there in France and will be also here in Egypt. These will be the first two countries to start this project. The main idea behind this project is that to find the genes that changes in the person who is not diagnosed with any symptoms, who does not have any symptoms, whether he has a genetic history or awareness of his genetic awareness, or those who do not have this awareness. And hence we're going to start with some examinations based on the choices and selections in order to know the high risk ratio, and also depending on the prevention of having those cancers and tumors before they already happen. This is a very developed program which will be delivered to scientific committees, and let's see how it can be achieved here in Egypt. I'm sorry for talking too much, and now I give the floor to Dr. Hassani to talk about what will happen in the future. There is a question here that concerning the cancer among women, and do we have stages here in Egypt? Let's start with certain stages of cancer here in Egypt, because we know there are widely different stages. The second question is that initiative, does it play a role in providing more statistics concerning the distribution rate of such cancers and tumors here in Egypt, in the different governorates of Egypt? Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to talk. Let me tell you that, in fact, when I hear my dear colleagues, Professor Dr. Safat and our colleagues here, all of these people needed to be regular on the screening and to use the hotline of the Ministry of Health and Population. Kindly call that hotline if you had any symptoms and if you want to do some screening in order to check up your health. And one of the most positive steps that we took during the last few years is the technical capacities of the medical personnel here in Egypt. I'd like to tell you that we had initiatives that focus on providing our personnel with much higher capacities in order to provide them with much more capacities concerning nurses, doctors, and physicians. And in order to know how the state deals with this, we can see a lot of patients in early stages, and I need to tell you that these diseases can be even earlier examined and diagnosed. And if you did not do screening and sonar, you will unfortunately indulge to a much later and more dangerous phases and stages. You need to be subject to sonar examination and further examinations regularly. We need to respect our cadres and personnel. Out of 18 million Egyptian women, a lot of those do not know the importance of such screening. We need to have verification for our services and for our examinations as well, because a lot of people perceive homogram and sonar negatively, but let me reassure them that this is necessary for your health and for your best. You can talk about the low-income countries who do not have a lot of money to spend on such medical services, but here in Egypt, and based on the initiatives that are already there by the presidency or the Ministry of Health and the Population, exactly when we talk about the universal health insurance system here in Egypt, we need a lot of human resources and a lot of resources in order to make this universal health insurance go all over Egypt, be applied to all over Egypt. Thank you so much. And now give the floor to Dr. Yahya. Dr. Hassani, let me tell you that the hepatitis C initiative here in Egypt, this is very powerful and very strong here in Egypt and is unprecedented. If a woman who does not have anything, if she went to have an examination, she may find that she may be diagnosed with further and other diseases. I think this is a major role played by the ministry itself. We have Dr. Islam Anan, who is an expert of medical initiatives, and he is a professor of medicine economics. Does the initiative has a burden on the state because it consumes a lot of resources. However, it provides a lot of resources on the other hand to the state itself. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity and for the question, which is very important. And to conclude your talk, I'd like to thank you, Dr. Mohammed Hassan and Dr. Ahmed Morsi. And as a scientific fact, any country all over the world, in order to have a screening, you need to have an initiative. And if the purpose is to decrease the mortality rate and to do prevention tests, you need to know the main cause of the disease itself. The methodology is based on having an enough number of patients that can be detected, and therefore the number of patients is very important. So we have a burden, whether this is clinical or economic. We have burdens already. This is the main goal. Thirdly, it's very important if you already have a lot of patients and you have a lot of medications and initiatives, the initiative itself may be lagging behind. A lot of medications may be efficient. This will quickly can be called a clinical examination. Based on such a mechanism, the environment in which we work is very important. Let me tell you what we do in our business. The protection phase is very important. Some of the diseases mentioned by Dr. Morsi, we decreased the high staging, which is 50%. The detection in stage 1 and 2 has increased to 50%. What does this mean? This means that I saved a lot of years from the lives of patients, and you save up up to 2021 or 2022, like 27,000 years to our patients. Every single year that you save to the patient is equal to success here in the initiative. If you save if you spend $2 billion, this will be equal to $3 billion in spending. The initiative, because of the initiative, you saved a unit of $1.3 billion, especially when at the worldwide scale concerning the cancer, and the presence of cancer is a very high economic burden, which is 1 GDP of any country. When we talk about the cancer here in Egypt, it costs us annually like $3 billion American dollars, which is a very high cost to pay. Every single year I save to the patient, I promote and sustain the investment and economic revenue. The mortality rate that happen due to cancer every single year is $1 billion American dollars. So when I do this every year, when I save a year, I decrease the burden, which is $1 billion American dollars every single year. The most important thing in this is data. If you already have data, you can work and you have economic revenue, you have investment revenue from our patients, which was like 30%. This means $1.38 billion. Without having such data, you will not have any evaluation, you will not have further results, and you will not know whether to continue with the initiative or not. Will you continue to the second stage, to the third stage or not? One study told us that every single year means that you increase your investment revenue. On the other hand, when you have an early detection, you can reach to decrease the instance of having such disease. You have such cancer, whether cervical cancer or breast cancer or any other cancers. Thank you so much, Dr. Islam. And we have a question here in order to conclude this session. One of the ladies sent us if a girl or a woman had some blocks in her uterus, if she has such uterus, her period comes on time. One time can come early and one time can get much later. Does this mean that she may have ovarian cancer? I may say that the presence of blocks in the uterus can be normal and natural in your body. This will not affect your marriage or giving birth to children. Another question, a final question to Dr. Yahya Safwat. My age is 64 years old. Every while I feel some hotness in my armpit. Does this mean that I have some abnormal problems in my body? No, the answer is no. I like Dr. Yahya because his answers are always short and concise. What is the difference between blocks? I do not want you to talk about blocks. He saves our time. I have a final question here concerning the question is to Dr. Yahya, because a lot of people love you. Does breast cancers, does those or do those mild cancers can turn to malicious cancers? Because I have pain. If you have pain like electricity, this is related to cancer. Concerning the pain in the breast, this is not related to a breast cancer. Pain is not related. I reiterate this, and it's not related to the increasing the rate of having breast cancer, or even the decrease or disappearance of such blocks can cause breast cancers. Secondly, concerning the changes that you feel in your breast, you need to know that the breast itself, 1/3 of it contains a lot of fibers. So you need to know that this is natural and normal. So do not worry about this. These will not lead to anything. The problem is that it may cause some pains, and my recommendation to all of you, I want you to, if you feel pain in the breast, this is related to obesity and some overweight. When you are underweight, if you lose some kilograms, this pain will disappear. Thank you so much, Dr. Yahya. This is the most detailed answer that you gave us tonight. Thank you so much for this. I'd like to thank all of you for this fruitful session and the effort played to have such a great company here together. This is very difficult to organize because and now I'd like to thank all of you, Dr. Ahmed, Dr. Yasser. Your presence is very important. It's a pleasure to have you, Dr. Mohsen and Dr. Yasser as well. Dr. Hassani, thank you so much for giving us this opportunity. Thank you so much to all of you. You need to know that during the first sessions or the first stage of losing weight, you need to know that our bodies save a lot of water in the beginning. And when you go into a diet system, you found that you lost a lot of weight because your body already lost a lot of water that it already saved before. This is a tricky weight losing, but it's natural because you can find a lot of overweight persons who lost like 10 kilograms, and you found yourself surprised from the results. But you need to know that all of these kilograms are already water that was saved and stored in your body. So what is the natural or the normal weight losing? Is only 1% of your weight. Is this concerning water? No, this is not related. This is not related to water. This is the natural weight loss. Concerning, do not think about the first kind of losing weight. We are talking about the natural weight loss. The right thing is to lose only 1%. If your weight is 100 kilograms, you can lose 1 kilogram per week. This is natural and this is healthy. It will not affect your muscles. This is natural. In order to find the appropriate diet to your health, you need to know if you can relate or to keep pace with such diets. Is it appropriate to your health? Can you do it? Is it recognized? We do not follow just diets out of blue because we depend on researches and on scientific papers. Let me ask you a question here. Does it make a difference? So every single one of us have a different diet to follow. Am I right? How to determine such thing? No one will determine this because it varies from a case to another. One diet can suit you and another one will not. But there are rules. A doctor needs to know the main reason behind overweight or obesity. This will related to eating a lot or having imbalanced hormones, and hence when you control this at the majority of people, because we have insulin persistence in our bodies, this will lead to doctor may have a diet in order to decrease the insulin persistence. This is a very nice diet concerning keto diet and the irregular fasting. They are totally different from each other, but they aim at decreasing insulin persistence in the body. So what is the best diet now recognized? The best thing, the best thing or the best diets, because every single year they show what the diets can go to. The Mediterranean system system is the best diet ever nowadays. Why? Because it depends on the quality of food that goes to your body. This means the doctor will erase and delete any causes of obesity from the body. The most healthy diet, even in tumor and obesity or diabetes, this will follow the Mediterranean system or the Mediterranean diet, because it combines a lot of characteristics and merits. It combines between fish, grains, relations with family members as well. These are already found in the oils of fish. Meat do not have such resources, so these resources are already there in much larger scales in fish. But when you depend on fish and grains, you will find much resources concerning such oil that make you lose weight. So when I feel that the diet that I'm following is not appropriate to me, what shall I do to correct this situation? I always tell you at a certain stage I may change the diet that I follow. I can have some aiding tools as well. I can use some recognized medications, or even the balloon or the capsule, or some obesity surgeries, or whatever our professors will talk about. The last question, the stomach capsule, because a lot of people take such capsules. A lot of people are so high on such capsules. They talk about it. When exactly can we take such capsule, and is it appropriate to all people or not? And now, at a certain weight, if I am over a certain number in such equation and I'm not ready to such a stage, I need to be overweight. If you are not overweight enough to have the capsule surgery, so do not do it. We will talk about obesity much later, but I am overweight and I do a lot of diet and I do not have any results, and I need an aiding tool. I will follow a diet as well, but I need an aiding tool. So what is the aiding tool that I may follow? Is that I take a little capsule like vitamins, but much larger. Is it safe? There are other kinds of capsules and balloons. You can do a surgery. You can just absorb the capsule itself. You can do this at the hospital, or you can do it at the clinic itself. You do not have to do any other procedures without any medications. It absorbs and it takes a certain portion of the stomach itself, so you will not take any extra foods because of this. This is an aiding tool. This will get rid of itself regularly after being used completely. Are there any side effects for such capsules? Every single aiding tool has its own side effects, but they have their own advantages and disadvantages. This is according to all parameters, but the capsule is the least affecting aiding tool, because you are not subject to antiseptics. You are not going to the hospital if you do not have any problems with your stomach, if you do not have anything with your colon, or any other reasons to avoid. If you avoid such reasons, it will be much appropriate. Thank you so much, Dr. Sherry Nabil. I now give the floor to Dr. Rania Alwani, gynecologist, consultant, and Egyptian swimming champion. We needed to seize this opportunity of your presence here concerning sports and the role of sport in shaping our bodies. Okay, number one, I need to tell you that I'm really pleased to be here among such a great company. I'll talk about sport. This point is very important because I see that most of us are women. We have an experience. You do not have to do sports or to play a lot of sports in Olympiads or in tournaments and championships. But the importance of a sport is that we live a sound, healthy life. A lot of things we did not hear or know before is that sports can be an addiction, because when you do a simple sport, some hormones can be issued by the body, like the local and natural antibiotics. We have some transmitters and some chemicals that can be injected to the brain that makes you feel anxious, happy, or full. When you do sports, you affect your chemicals of the body, and even the estrogen hormones. It can increase the cortisol in the body. When you can control this, I confess that all over our lives we cannot consider this. But when we talk about the body, the external shape of the body, we do diet in order to sustain and to promote our shapes. But let's talk much more about your own health, because it affects your mood, your activity in the society and in your community. So it's not only about the shape, but it's all about our health. So what is the most appropriate time to do sports? By experience, the most benefitful time is in the early morning before you go to work. But if you cannot do this, the morning time is open to do sport. But if you want to save your health, you can just walk a while on your foot. Some simple exercises can make you much energetic and healthy. I ask you two advices. One sport advice to all our women and men as well, in order to have a much healthier life with an acceptable body shape. And number two, if you are patient, what can you do in order to keep your health? My first recommendation is to have sport as a part of your life. I do not want to spend much time or to register or subscribe to a gym, but you can take a walk for like 10 minutes or 20 minutes every single day. This is very important. This will be a sport hobby to you. It will help your psychology, your mental status, and your psychological status. It will motivate your mentality, and you will feel much full. But concerning women all over our life, you need a sport, because due to the main issues that women come across by, a lot of pregnant women ask me, can we do sport when we are pregnant? Yes, I totally recognize this, and I totally recommend that you do sport while you are pregnant. You need to take care of your body even before you get married and when you get a lot of children. So you need to be used to sports. There is no something like that in your pregnancy. So, but you can do some sports. Sport is very important. Now, before we start with Dr. Ahmed, I'd like you to stand up, please. Let's do some sports. Kindly stand up in order to feel that you are already with us. Do you promise me that 3 times a week that you walk like 20 minutes? Now, with Dr. Ahmed Abd Salam, general surgery consultant at Cairo University. When we talk about the kinds of diets, and is it appropriate to every single one of us? But concerning sport, do you recommend that we refer to surgery in order to treat our obesity? Thank you so much in the beginning for the invitation. When we refer to surgery, we need to understand that surgery surgeries are safe, and obesity surgeries are now not a problem, but it does not apply to every single one of you, because if you are just feeling that you are overweight, you do not have to do a surgery, because a lot of people do sports for like once, twice, 3 times, or even 20 times, and they do not have any appropriate or satisfying results, and there they refer to surgeries. But when exactly can we refer to surgeries in the right way? We can calculate the body shape. This depends on calculating your length on your weight. This calculator is already in the App Store on your mobile phones. This indicator, if it's larger than 30, we can think about surgeries. But up to the last year, up to 35, if your body mass is above 35 and you have overweight and you have obesity, extra obesity, we can refer to surgery. But if you feel overweight, it's not necessary to have the surgery. If you are already over 100 kilograms or even below, this is not necessary, because a lot of people have a misunderstanding concerning this information. It's related to length and weight. If you are 150 centimeters and you already weigh like 80 kilograms, so do not consider and think about having a surgery. And I am another case is like 120 kilograms, and their length is even more than 190 centimeters. They think that they may have the surgery, but this is not an important indicator, because we depend on that indicator alone. So, doctor, are these the main conditions before we do the surgery in order to prevent obesity? We do not prevent obesity, but it's not only obesity, but we prevent general obesity. One may think that they have partial obesity, like there are some people who are overweight and think they have partial obesity, but you need to measure such indicator in order to know if you can do the surgery or not. The indicator of the public or the general obesity means that your length can be calculated out of your weight. If your indicator is above 35, this means that you are in the second stage, and this means that you are applicable to the surgery. Dr. F, I feel like I have a partial obesity. Does this mean I can do this surgery, or can I do the diet, just the diet? If you have partial obesity, you do not need to have this surgery. Dr. Hani will talk about plastic surgery, but it does not depend on this. There is nothing like losing weight in certain parts of the body without other parts. This is not applicable. No, this is not applicable here. We hear a lot of information about. Yes, again, we heard a lot about the post-sleeve gastrectomy or the turnaround surgeries. What do you think about this? Please tell us when to do such surgeries. In the beginning, we need to know or determine whether to do a post-sleeve gastrectomy or turnaround surgeries. A lot of people, and all people in fact, can do the post-sleeve gastrectomy surgeries. When we refer to turnaround surgeries, those who are diagnosed with diabetes or those who are already with diabetes, they refer to the turnaround surgeries. Those who consume a lot of sugar, they can refer to turnaround surgeries. And a lot of cases with no exact definition, they also can refer to turnaround surgeries. If you consume a lot of chocolates and sugar products, if you have diabetes, if you consume a lot of sugar sugars, you can do the turnaround or correction or build a surgery. In addition, a lot of people are afraid of such surgeries because they already had some bad experiences with this. Some people did turn around surgeries and they did not fix their weight because they consume a lot of sugars and chocolates. So this raises a very important question. If I already had a turnaround surgery, can I get overweight again? Yes, exactly. Of course you can get or gain weight again, because this is not an indicator and it's not a condition. So what is the mistake that is committed here, that I return back to my overweight again? People need to know that the surgery is only an aiding tool to lose weight, but you need to know that you lose weight. You are the one who is losing weight, not the other way around. So if you decided to get back to your previous weight, you will do, of course, some and a lot of those cases that come to us because they have high rates of obesity. Those who do the post-sleeve gastrectomy or turnaround surgeries, they may get back to us with much overweight. But if you consume a lot of sugars and chocolates, you can easily gain weight. And even if you did the turnaround or the post-sleeve gastrectomy surgeries, you will not benefit from the surgery in such case. You did the surgery in order to lose weight, but you kept consuming chocolates and sugars, so you will never lose weight after that. You need to change your lifestyle. You need to change the way you consume food. Thank you so much, doctor. We now give the floor to Dr. Hani Nabil to talk about plastic surgeries. There are a lot of people during the last few years. We hear about a lot of devices which are interested in treating partial obesity. What do you think about these devices and mechanisms? Do you think that they give positive results? Good evening to all of you. Thank you so much to all of you for giving me the opportunity to talk today. This is a very important question, the story of the role of these devices and treating partial obesity. There are devices that result in a revolutionary action in the life of treating partial obesity. You can see it's very important to know what a partial obesity is. Any one of us may have a proportional weight. It's necessary to have a proportion between our length and our weight. When you finish all your procedures to lose weight, and when your weight is proportional to your length, it's very important to see the proportion between both indicators. But concerning the stomach area and the hips and the breast and the chest as well among women, when the patient come to us and referring or directing or pointing to a certain part of his body, and he says he doesn't like that part and he wants it to get much smaller, we tell him whether this part is a center of fat or not. This is what we call a partial obesity. Anything else is not related to our work. So this is the definition of partial obesity. It's widely different from extreme or severe obesity. If we're going to talk about devices, these are aiding tools that we refer to. After all, my colleagues are done with their mechanisms and systems and efforts as well. We do some sessions when you go to a doctor. After all of these efforts, you can do some sessions in order to lose weight, in order to decrease the fat in certain parts of our bodies. We can do also some types and kinds of sport in order to help us lose weight. But this is the final stage ever. This aiding tool is the least helping tool after all previous efforts. So you do not prefer this step? I do not think so, but I I think that depends on how the patient perceives his own obesity and overweight. Well, it make a difference if other efforts are not done. Of course not. It will not differ at all. If we are talking about injections, because you can find a lot of injections are already there in the market. They help us with losing weight and partial obesity. What do you think about it? Do you recommend such injections in order to lose weight quickly? The word injections that is already there on the internet and online, it makes me feel better because it's they are not just injections, because this concept is taken from the online and is extremely used among common people. But injections are given by a specialist doctor who you need to know whether he is a specialist or not. Is he a specialist in giving injections or not, with a certain aiding tools and devices? So anything on social media can be beneficial, can be harmful as well. A lot of people ask for injections and buy injections online in order to take at home. If we are or just ordering injections online, I may go home and let you do your business. It's our role and your role in order to show us the reality behind this. Concerning the fat elision injections and any procedure and any medical procedures, even simple concerning the elision of fat, we need to do such performance or such procedure with a specialist doctor that you already know and you experience well. If this doctor is not a specialist, if he told you that this eating tool is beneficial to you, and if he told you that this injection is beneficial to you, it will be at his own sole responsibility. But concerning the question that whether these devices are beneficial or not, I believe it depends on the case itself. So it's not that general. Concerning the endermology surgeries, you also know that endermology surgeries are already there among a lot of people who want to lose weight in certain parts of their bodies. So what do you think about endermology? Is it helpful or not? The most common surgery that I performed all over my medical life throughout the 25 to 30 years is the endermology. Endermology surgery depends on the case itself, and it needs to be done in a correct way. As you told us, all of us can do endermology surgery in concerning certain defaults in your body. If we did screening to a majority of our attendees, there will be applicable to endermology, but you need to know that only 10% of them will accept such a surgery, because endermology is only done to partial obesity concerning certain parts of our bodies. Some people are somehow overweight, and some parts of their body are overweight, and that's why they are recommended to follow a diet, and after a while they will lose weight. But concerning the endermology surgery, it's not for everyone. We cannot talk because we have a lot of people talking here. Kindly follow us, because there are a lot of prizes by the end. Kindly focus with us. Please remain seated. We have a question here. What if a patient needs endermology surgery? When do you recommend such a surgery? I recommend when I see that the procedures are already in line and I already have a default. So you can lose weight naturally, but when I feel that you already need an endermology surgery because of a default and your certain body part, we need to follow certain procedures. Some ladies say that they do not like their arms because their arms are curvy and fat, but we do not, because we do not have a certain diet that makes our arms lose weight, and we do not have a surgery to do so, and that's why we do the endermology surgery in order to make our arms lose weight. We have another question. Do we have skin reactions to such surgeries. Yes, if the procedures are taken in a good way, there will be no cellulites or any other reactions in the skin. Those who are diagnosed with obesity or overweight, they do a lot of examinations and procedures before the surgery, and that's why we choose the best procedures. And when these patients goes to other doctors and follow the procedures and they do other efforts, and when they are referred to us, this is the final stage ever. Plastic surgeries are one of the most common specializations common on the internet, because a lot of people talk about them. The plastic surgeon is the one who does the last effort ever in order to make you lose weight. But you have to lose weight. You have to consider that you can lose weight without having surgeries. If we talk about body shaping, I think this is a fashion right now. Can body shaping provide us with a much body shape? What is the story of body shaping? This is a kind of endermology. We use a mechanism or a practice in order to suck fat from the surface of the skin, and we fix some curves in the body. This endermology surgery develops every single day. You can see a lot of devices and a lot of mechanisms every single day. We see whether you need such endermology or such plastic surgeries or not. Okay, this may lead to some reactions according to your body type and body shape. Some doctors work on a patient in order to know whether he or she is applicable to such endermology surgery or body shaping surgery. If we did a screening to all those people who are on the session in this hall, I believe only 10% of them may be applicable to endermology surgeries. 30% or 40% will be with Dr. Rania and even with Dr. Sherry. So only 10% are with me. So this is the final or the last stage ever. So do you think that the doctor himself is the one who's responsible on determining whether this patient needs to have a surgery or not? Do you think so? Yeah, the answer is. Or do you think that there any other recommendation concerning this? Yeah, we have a question here from an obesity patient who wants to go to an dermatology surgery in order to lose weight. Do you think that this is enough because she wants to save time and she wants to lose weight quickly? You need to know that there are perceptions that need to change. If you have some respiratory diseases, you can't continue as smoking. This is the same in our case. If you already did not do sport or did not do other efforts in order to lose weight, you will not lose weight through just a surgery. This is the idea behind this. You need, yes, we respect your will and we respect your determination to lose weight, but if this determination is not depending or is not based on medicine or medical thinking or mentality, you will not get benefit from such surgeries. You can take a lot of medications and you can do a lot of surgeries like the round or the post-sleeve gastrectomy, and you will not benefit from them. Dr. Sherry, could you please give us the best diet that may not affect our shape and which will benefit our health in order to lose weight in certain body parts? I need to tell you that we can lose weight in our faces. It will only lose weight when I follow a diet system which is not healthy, a chemical one, or maybe depending on much fewer fats. If I took a balanced diet, if I took balanced health diets, if I took carbohydrates, nutrients, and other healthy fats, there are harmful nutrients and other useful nutrients as well. So it depends on what you take every single day. So you need to increase what is healthy and decrease what is harmful to your health. If I took what is a bit lesser than what I need, I think this would be enough. So if you need 200 200 types of fats, you may feel much better. This will be enough to you. We are used to a system that is based on such ratios. The kind of food that you intake every single day is very important, because our body is not used to burn fats. Our God created us like this, because our body is used to burn certain fats, but not all fats. A lot of people take a lot of carbohydrates and a lot of fats every single day, but you need to know that there are some healthy carbohydrates and also helpful and healthy fats and sugars. You can find that these components are in much higher rates among fish than animals. So you need to decrease the amount of food that you intake after lunch. It doesn't matter how much you take from food, but it really matters when you consume food. Another important question from an attendee here. So she is a woman who is following a diet system for like 6 years, and she had an accident. And she did not move her body for like 2 months, and she gained much weight, and she is now 38 kilograms. How can she lose that gained weight? How can she restore her life back? Okay, I believe this case is invited to my clinic in order to be examined very well, but for free, of course. Doctor, we have yes, and now it's time for the competition, and we're going to ask certain questions that we already provided the answers of before. I wish you focused well on the information and data given here in the session. Doctor, share the first question here is by you. You were talking about the burning rates. What are the healthy or appropriate burning or metabolism rates? So what is your question? How much weight you can lose in 1 week? Doctor, you can choose among our attendees. Yes, this lady over there. You can choose yourself. We have a lot of prizes this night. The lady over there, kindly answer the question. It's only 1%, so it's not 1%, but it means 1% of the total body weight, and this is the healthy weight loss percentage. Yes, she answered the question correctly. Kindly salute her. Another question, doctor. You were talking about the most healthy diet that is common these days. So what is the healthiest diet system? Yes, she answered the Mediterranean diet system. Yeah, you said the Red Sea. It's the Mediterranean system. I believe we can take from those who are sitting in the back. This table is very nice. We can take from over there. Another question before we restore our competition again. The question says, can we do a surgery to a patient who did a surgery before in 2015? She has a fatty arm. Now she is 85 kilograms. She is 54 years old, and she is not diagnosed with diabetic. To answer this question, I have a patient who lost 70 kilograms in 8 years. I think this does not make a difference. But if you suffer from a certain fat in the arms or certain parts, I believe there is no need for the surgery, because I did a lot of surgeries to a lot of people who are old enough. So do not be afraid of this. And after examinations and after diagnoses, I believe we can recommend whether to do the surgery or not. This will be a stretching surgery. It will be very important to your health and according to your age group. Some women can be afraid of having wounds because they are stigmatic to our bodies, but do not be afraid of this, because we deal with this in the right way, so do not be afraid of at all. Dr. Rania Alwani, you talked about the best time to do sports. What is the best time to do sports in order to burn fats? I believe this table as so encouraging. Yes, this is a right and a correct answer. I salute you. Thank you so much. My questions are very simple and easy. Yeah, thank you so much. Bravo. This is a good job. Another prize here because she answered quickly and in the right way. Did you answer this question correctly? Yes, kindly come here to receive your prize. Dr. Sherry, can the keto diet affect our hormones? It depends on how much are you committed to the keto. Keto can be so beneficial and can be harmful as well. We do a lot of examinations in order to know from the patient who is examined and who receives the chemotherapy or radiotherapy. So we need to do the examinations in order to know whether the keto will be beneficial or harmful to him. The keto, if it's done in a right way, it will be beneficial, of course. And if you receive enough fats and enough carbohydrates and enough healthy food, this will help you a lot in losing weight. And in certain cases, a lot of people can be diagnosed with diabetes, and because of keto, they can be free of diabetes at all. We have other questions and we have other prizes. The prizes will be delivered to your tables. Dr. Ahmed, you answered this question before. When shall we refer to medical surgeries in order to lose weight? Do we refer directly to surgeries in order to lose weight or not? Yes, the last lady by the corner of the session of the hall. Yes, you will lose much weight when you come to us. Kindly remain there and answer us. Kindly give her the mic in order to answer the question. So what is your answer? Yes, correctly. This is correct. Thank you so much. Kindly give her a prize. And that lady over there, she answered first. So kindly give her a prize as well. Bravo. Thank you so much. Good job. Kindly remain seated and you will receive the prizes. We would like to continue our session. Kindly remain seated. We will distribute the prizes after the end of the session. Kindly, we would like to talk about endermology surgeries in order to give the opportunity to that part on the right side. What is the difference between a total opacity and partial opacity? Yes, we have a beautiful lady right here. Kindly allow me to tell you that the prizes will be distributed to your tables, so kindly remain seated in order to receive your prizes. I'd like to thank our specialist doctors here in the session. Dr. Sherry Nabila, Professor of Medicine at Cairo University. Dr. Hani, thank you so much for being here. I am really happy to be here with you today, and I'm really pleased to present the role of society and supporting women because when women receive enough support, she will do a lot of miracles. It looks like I am an example before of you because I received the support from you, from my family, and I became a swimming championship and a table tennis. I have more than 195 medals. 8 of them are international, and I represented Egypt in a lot of championships, like Syria, Libya, Lebanon, Korea, and Oman, Abu Dhabi, Italy, America, and I received the support from the state, and I became a TV presenter, and I had a presence everywhere. Support is what makes the person much better. Let us today get more into knowing the role of different institutions and partnership with the Egyptian Society for Colposcopy in order to provide the much support to Egyptian women. Kindly let me welcome Dr. Hala Adli Hussein, a member of the board of directors of the Egyptian Society for Colposcopy. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Rahma, and I am always pleased to have Rahma with us. Thank you so much, Dr. Muhammad. I like you so much. Rahma, kindly wait here. I don't want you to get down kindly because we need to talk. I was so happy. They tell us that the last speaker is always the most boring one, but we wanted to get benefit from Rahma in order to please us here tonight. Frankly, she will moderate this session. She will give us a positive energy. She will make us have hope with her laugh, with her laughter, and the red robe that she wears. Thank you so much, Rahma, for coming. For coming to us and for staying with us to the end because you wanted to present and to moderate this session. Thank you so much, darling. By the way, we will not delay you. We will be much fun because we won't like to tell you that this is the last session and we are all tired, but we are going to finish very soon. I'd like first to thank Dr. Muhammad Al-Azab, president of the Egyptian Society for Colposcopy, for the effort he did throughout the last period and the effort that is done before the forum in order to have this day, in order to provide us with the Females Arab Forum. For us, this was a very nice thing to do. Before we start our civil society organization or the role of the civil society organization's rule, and this, I'd like to thank Her Excellency Minister Niveen Al-Khabbaj for supporting and sponsoring our forum. And without her and her organization and all of us, all of our organizations are related to the Ministry of Social Solidarity. So I'd like to thank her for the support and for the funding that she provided to us from the Ministry of Social Solidarity. She donated 50 screening devices to the Egyptian Society for Colposcopy. I'd like to thank a lot of people who come from Alexandria and those who come from different governorates, from Port Said and from other governorates, yes, as well. And we would like it to be much light. We will not take too much time, and we would like to thank Ministry of Health and the Presidential Initiative and the League of Arab States for adopting this forum. This is a very important thing. I'd like to thank Dr. Hatem Al-Rubi because he is the only man here on stage and he has 4 women on the stage. So thank you so much for coming to us. So God help you, Mr. Hatem. Our dear guests here today, Dr. Amal El-Sisi, pediatrics professor at Cairo University and the previous president of Tahrir Rotary, which will cooperate with us in a lot of things and a lot of fields in the coming period. We also have Dr. Huda Al-Gadani, director of Ibn Sina Hospital for medical sciences in Jeddah in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Welcome, Dr. Huda. Thank you so much for coming here, and welcome to your second home here in Egypt. She is half Egyptian. She is half Egyptian and half Saudi. Mr. Hatem Al-Rubi, he is the chairman of the board of directors and the board of trustees of Sofara for charity for the sustainable development. Thank you so much, Mr. Hatem. Mrs. Suhair Dirbas, lawyer, the beautiful Lebanese lawyer and president of the Women women leadership, the Arab Women Leadership Union in Lebanon. Thank you so much for being here. Dr. Amal Salim, Professor of Specialized Education in Ain Shams University and holder of a PhD in Positive Education and researcher of psychological health and member of the Arab Women Leadership Union in the Arab Republic of Egypt. Thank you so much to all of you. I now will give the floor to Mr. Hatem Arubi in order to make him not to think that there is discrimination, there is no bias to women, but in order to show goodwill, we're going to start with you and the role of the volunteer ambassadors. I will witness on this because I am really biased to his work, but he needs to tell us what is the role of this initiative and their work with us and the role they play in our society. But quickly, please, because a lot of people want to take lunch. I now give you the floor. In the beginning, I'd like to thank Dr. Muhammad Al-Azab for this success for the second year in organizing the forum and in much good way, and the strong attendees here today. If we're going to talk about the role of women in special, I will not talk about the women rights in the Egyptian society and I will not tell you that the head of sector and my job as a woman and my director is a woman. My colleagues are women. Mr. Hatem, kindly wait a moment. People from Port Said, the beautiful Port Said, kindly remain seated in order to give the opportunity to Mr. Hatem to tell you his story, because we are so glad to have him here over. When I always say human rights or women rights in the Egyptian society during the last few years and the development that we witness in having their rights in the Egyptian society, this may be one of the roles of the civil society organizations and the role that we play in Sofara, a charity organization and different governorates in the Arab Republic of Egypt, and providing support at all levels. We moved a lot in the cases and the problems and challenges that are faced by women, because we're talking about the new republic. In fact, I need to ask you, throughout the last years, we had a lot of problems in the Egyptian society and even in the Arab society as well. But in order to have an interaction, I'd like to ask from the attendees, what is the case from the birth of the woman up to her marriage, up to her work? She faces a lot of problems. When she is a child born in a familial distortion, and then she can be subject to circumcision, genital mutilation. She may be subject to harassment. She may be deprived from education. This deprivation may lead that she may marry at an early age, and she gives birth to a problematic children. She may not have the opportunity to get a job that is appropriate to her. So finally, we will have a marginalized women that may face a lot of problems, and those problems that we face every single day in the Egyptian society in a way that may affect the picture of the woman, because we know that the woman is the essence of the cornerstone of the family here in Egypt, in the Egyptian society. So I'd like to ask you, what is the most important case or the challenge that you faced in this society in only 2 words? In the name of Allah, I am from Marsa Matruh. The most important problem is the school quitting. I am a director of a school compound in the Ministry of Education. This is a problem that we face in Marsa Matruh, is the school quitting. Thank you so much for this. School quitting is one of the major problems faced by women since she is a child up to her adulthood. If she is not well educated, she will ever be marginalized, and she will face a lot of problems. problems. Another answer from these people in only 2 words. It looks like they have a lot of problems here. In the name of Allah, success to a woman. Yes, early marriage is a very problematic issue here in Egypt. We have a lot of problems like quitting school and early marriage, harassment, and marginalized women. Thank you so much for your effort. The last intervention here, only 1 word. What is the most common problem? My name is Magda Khattab. I am a school director. I think bullying is another problem. We have 4 cases. If we continue to the remaining cases, we will hear other issues. I do not want to take a penalty because of this. No, take your time. I'll get down to take my time again. Another intervention here. Go ahead. My name is Abir Abdulaziz, member of the board of directors of 10th of Ramadan City and president of the special cases in the council. From my side, the most important case or the most important problem that the woman may face is the differentiated bodies. There are a lot of titles underlying this, but I think this is enough. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to you. And now let's get back to our question. We have interventions. We have representations from the different governorates of Egypt. We always talk about the role played by civil society organizations. We know the priorities that the state focus on in order to make us complete our role through the medical campaigns, the envoys, and from the support that we provide to the society itself in order to solve some problems and issues and that we heard about from you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Hatem Arubi, and thank you so much, Safara, for charity work. And by the way, behind Mr. Hatem, there are a lot of girls and young men and young ladies who work from the heart. When I see them, I am really pleased. And of course, their leader is the one who gave them such energy. We gave you this opportunity because we do not want you to feel discriminated, but I believe that you won the hearts of those little ladies here. Thank you so much. I now give the floor to an Arab country, Mrs. Suhair Derbes, a lawyer. Thank you so much for being here, and the branch of Lebanon. We welcome all of you here in the land of the Arab Republic of Egypt, and we will hear from her case in Lebanon, and she will talk about the role she played and the problem in facing the problems out there in Lebanon. Good evening. I'd like to deliver you the salutation of Lebanon to the water of Nile and the women of Nile. When we talk about social peace, we talk about economic stability and security, food security. This will not happen without development. A big side of it depends on women. The path to development is represented by the best investment, which is the investment in the half of society in numbers and the whole society by uprising. I here mean the woman itself. If we describe the relation between women and development, this will happen through some tools used to improve the quality of life in different and various fields. The positive contribution will not be complete before we understand and perceive our roles, and the integration of roles and development will be an actual thing. There are big roles and efforts played by the women organizations in the society, and they still provide those roles in order to defend the women rights and to provide there with much awareness in their struggle path, which traces back to a lot of decades in all Arab countries without without exception. However, we would like to give an example there in Lebanon. There was a tangible development at the legislative level. Mrs. Suhair, just 1 minute. Kindly remain seated. I know that all of us are already tired and we are hungry enough, but after that we will struggle with Dr. Mohammed Al-Azab. Kindly hear and focus with our dear guests because they are too tired and they did a lot of effort to be here among us. So kindly, only 10 minutes. We will not take too much time. I will be short in my answer. I will summarize it. The women volunteer organizations do a lot of efforts to support women and to empower them. They all are sharing efforts and struggle and fighting discrimination and violence against women and defending women's rights. A big section of these activities based on training on prevention of harassment, sexual harassment, and also on support, psychological support sessions and social support as well, in order to prevent early marriage, sexual harassment, and prevention of drugs. Women participate and women and ladies participate in building capacities within the economic empowerment programs. However, the most important side here, in my opinion, is working on reaching or delivering women to the decision-making circles. What do you think about this? I believe this will help empowering women and supporting her in the path of the public, general, and individual rights, protecting the civil and economic and social rights, and also the cultural ones. This is so essential. This is almost a passage to the freedom of the liberalization of women from the obstacles that may prevent her from the individual and participation in the society. Without such efforts, the masculine participation will not be broke in general. Now we talk about two main roles: the empowerment of women through the legislative and the cultural system in the society, and building their capacities, developing their capacities as well, and also developing the legislative system in order to help with the governance and human rights and political participation as well. Please continue. In this regard, empowering women is widely different from just training and providing technical and logistical support. This will be in need by any person, whether you are a woman or you are a man, in order to have an active political role. And if we're going to talk about politics, especially the political empowerment of women is within the traditional conception of empowerment, and in the framework of systems and information that depends on the masculine discrimination. This is not enough if it's not matching with working on changing the systems under development. This will make her much more capable of participating in the public interest and in the decision-making process. The liberalization of women from the typical picture as an entry to the liberalization of the society itself from the dominance of the masculine thinking. This is what makes discrimination so overtly there. Political participation by women is an option, but it's one condition in order to achieve development and stability. However, without this, there are a lot of challenges. One of them is the disrupted conception by the civil society concerning which reflect the social disruptance and between the powers that use the civil society as a solution, and the other ones that stick back with traditions and customs, which may create male dominance, masculine dominance as well, and this will affect the choice of work tools and choosing coalitions in order to win the challenge on the role of the social solidarity and social responsibility. We would like it to widen the circle of women rights within the society concerning the social and political rights of women within the society, including the participation of women. The political participation of women needs to be much better here in the society by the use of coalitions, women coalitions, and integrating decision makers within this process. We are in front of a lot of local, regional, and international changes, and maybe it's time to keep pace with such changes, which include everything, a lot of concepts, in order to push the Arab women in order to achieve the right of a complete partnership in the society, whether politically or socially or at levels, especially in the decision-making process. To women, I tell you, you can be in a leading position, whether in a party or in the parliament or in the government itself. You need to change the old concepts. You need to work on the programs that were mentioned in order to change the social concepts and mentalities with sustaining the partnership ideas, and also the injustice that facing the Arab women, which also form a stumble in front of the women in order to achieve social justice and her way to the decision-making process. Thank you so much to all of you. I'd like to thank Dr. Muhammad Al-Azab, Dr. Hala, and also the Women Arab organization and union for their presence here. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mrs. Suhair, for your time. We now have a little hope because the lunch is reaching our tables, but your voice is too high. Our dear guests, we need to appreciate and respect them enough. I talked about this before, but we only have a few minutes to finish our conference. I now give the floor to, we're going to replace an Arab country with Egypt. I now give the floor to Dr. Ahmed El-Sisi. She is a medicine professor at the Faculty of Medicine at Ain Shams University and the former president of a Rotary Club. Your work is mainly based on the role of social organizations. What is the role of social society organizations? And I see that there is a support given by your side and the role of awareness that you already provide. Thank you so much for the kind invitation, and I thank Dr. Muhammad Al-Azab and Dr. Hala for their kind invitation. I will not talk too much. I'd like to reiterate the role of the social organizations and the role of individuals in order to do charity in our country through organizations, whether at the level of individuals or at the civil society organizations or at the level of institutions. In fact, despite the fact that I'm a professor at the university and my time is too busy, but you will never imagine how nice is the civil society organization. It gives you fulfillment. So I advise you, if you are not involved in a charity work, kindly do a charity work. So it's not limited to donating money, but by time and experience and effort as well, you can donate those. The role of social organizations. I represent the Rotary. Those who do not know Rotary, the Rotary plays a very important role as an organization. It's registered under the the Ministry of Social Solidarity. We have 125 clubs all over the Arab Republic of Egypt in all governorates, and we a big part of us as affiliated to the International Rotary, which is located in the United States of America and have different branches all over the world. And this gives us a merit over the local organizations, is that we can take donations and support and funds from other institutions in order to provide the society with further support in the fields of education, water, environment, economic development, and peace. These are the fields that we work on. So in health, especially, we did a lot of medical convoys. We bought a lot of devices. We have doctors who treat children and a lot of patients. We have a lot of doctors who donate in their specialties, in their fields, in order to treat the patients who cannot have this treatment for any reason. I'd like to conclude by saying that the role of a civil society all over the world, the state may be not economically strong enough. In America, for example, Harvard University, number one all over the world, 50% of its profit, of its income, comes from donations from the civil society. So civil society is very important, and its rule is not limited to poor countries or the economically developing countries, but it sends to the whole world. And as long as the human beings are already there, this rule will not be cut. This rule is very important that it fulfills the man and the humanitarian need of every single man. You may have certain things to give out to other people. This will be fulfilled in a charity work. If you have money, you can provide money. If you have science, you can give science. If you have time, you can give time. So this is a mere humanitarian case, but a lot of people do not have time to do so. But if you did so, you will not stop it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Amal. I believe she has a will to participate with us. I now give the floor to Dr. Huda Al-Gad'ani. Welcome to Egypt. Welcome to your homeland, Dr. Huda Al-Gad'ani. Let me introduce Dr. Huda to you. She is the director of Ibn Sina for medical sciences in Jeddah in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and one of the sponsors of this forum. I now give you the floor. Thank you so much, Dr. Hala. Thank you so much to you. Peace be upon you all, your excellencies, our dear attendees. In the beginning, I'd like to tell you how pleased I am to meet you at this forum, which depends and focuses on the importance of providing awareness to women, which is under the challenge of development established under social services. Dear women, you are representative. You represent the wife, the daughter, the sister, the wife, and the grandson, the granddaughter as well. You bear a lot of pains before your family in order to keep them pace, and you prioritize their needs upon your own personal needs. Your health means the health of the man of the family itself at all. And this role, I depend and I focus on the social side and developing the role of the social organizations and supporting the women health and the role of the social networking at all levels, which play a very important role in the lives of individuals. It's not limited to the medical support, but extends to a lot of places and a lot of roles to be played. A lot of doctors and experts do a lot of efforts in order to remove obstacles from the way of those who want to work to develop the society in order to have a much better role played by women through providing appropriate and good information and sound information among women, and working on working on enhancing the opportunity of them having the medical services that are appropriate to them. One of the most important burdens and challenges that face us as the widening of having the opportunity of preventive health and services, and also providing the opportunity of having a much better medical traditions and customs concerning nutrition and physical activity. The second step in this is creating an environment that is already safe and welcoming without any previous justifications or injustices. Women can feel comfortable with talking about their own cases and challenges transparently and comfortably. Thirdly, this is very important as the coordination between the civil society organizations and governmental institutions in order to have much more sustainable funds and supports for the sake of the health of the Arab women. Finally, our dear attendees, I'd like to thank you so much, and I wish I did not take so much time, and I wish you success, and I'm really pleased to be here in the Female Health Arab Forum. Thank you so much, and peace be upon you all. Thank you so much, Dr. Hada. You honored us and you honored Egypt, and I always think that we will have partnership in the future. I have a question here. Does cancer lead to depression? What is the relation between depression and cancer? Concerning this possibility, I think it's very high. There is a relation between obesity and depression and also cancer. Is there a relation? Yes, of course there is a relation. There are a lot of studies and scientific papers that state that there is a relation between the three of them. When someone who is overweight at the long run, after 5 years, that person will have depression. If this depression is not treated, this will be chronic depression. This will take a lot of time to treat. This will have a long effect and severe effect on the hormonic changes in the body, and this will make the body prone to the immunity system will be much weaker, and it may cause the increasing possibility of having cancer. Concerning obesity, a lot of studies say that obesity among women, when women want to lose weight, they do not take the necessary procedures and steps in order to lose weight. We say that we want to lose weight, but we eat a lot of food and we do not do sports or any other efforts to lose weight. So we will not ever lose weight in this case. We need to follow diet, and we need to consume healthy foods in order to lose weight. Concerning the depression, there are a lot of treatments. According to the time of depression, there will be a treatment, of course. If the diagnosis is made in a right way, there is a medication treatment, and there are other sessions that can be provided. There are aiding sessions. For example, there is a treatment by music. This is one of the most important kinds of treatment, and when I do effort in my work, this will decrease the level of depression in my life. And when I do an achievement, when I give an achievement in my work, this will help me decrease my depression possibility. And without having this, and with the life stress and with the challenges that we meet every single day, I may be prone to chronic depression after the normal depression. I may refer back to a specialist doctor, and we need to have the perceived social support, which is perceived by the individual. This is not an intervention in his own life, because this person deserves support without intervention in his life, of course. Studies say that there is a relation between depression, obesity, and cancer. There is a relation between the three of them, of course. And I have read a lot of studies that say obesity can lead to this. I also read other studies that say that depression can lead to the possibility of having overweight or obesity. Obesity is one of the diseases that may lead to chronic negative effects on the body. So I think there is a relation between obesity, depression, and cancer as well. We wish Allah to provide you with much health. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Before our conclusion, before we conclude this forum, I wish you will allow me to ask you about the information that you got from about the cervical cancer. You got a lot of professors and specialists who discussed a lot of subjects, and they gave you a lot of information and data about cancers. So what shall we do when we get out of here? What is the first step to take? Will you go to do the examination concerning our children? Will we subject them to vaccinations? We will ask Dr. Amal a little question. You know that the World Health Organization is the one that provides directions and orientations concerning the medical services provided all over the world. There is a strategy given by the WHO, which is 90-17-90. Did you hear about it? 90-17-90 strategy. Do you know anything about this? It tells us that from children from 9 to 15 need to be all vaccinated, whether they are boys or girls. Cervical cancer can come to boys or girls, and it's not limited to girls or women only, just because it's related to cervix. Our doctors talked about this, but I consider it as one of the nicest cancers, because the cells in this cancer take a lot of time, like 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years in order to turn to a cancer, and it may not turn to cancer, and there is a vaccination for such a cancer. So I think this is a merciful or a mild cancer. I don't think this is an aggressive one. The initiative that we issued by the Arab Women Union, in cooperation with the Egyptian Society for Colposcopy, we will see where the examination is located, and we will vaccinate our children. I'd like to hear from you. Will we go to other associations and parties? Will we do so? Yes, I now give the floor to you. My name is Marvat Sulaiman from Egypt, and I came from Aswan. There are vaccinations given by Provac for children. Yes, Provac is already there, and this vaccination is at El Azabi as well. Thank you so much for being here. This day is successful. This is a very nice day, a successful day. I'd like to thank you from Port Said. Thank you so much, Dr. Amal. Thank you so much, Dr. Suhair.